Wappa, wappa, wappa. How are we doing, my beautiful, 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 beautiful people? And obviously the sound is going to double because that's my life. That's my life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another stream with your boy Yugopnik. We had a lot of fun earlier today during the surprise gaming stream. That was fucking legit. We killed some bugs. We got owned. People that were here can tell you plenty about it. Look out for those if you're interested in gaming. Whenever I feel like having a sesh, and by sesh I mean completely being annihilated in front of hundreds of people because I suck so much, you're welcome to join. Thank you, Madka, for the
Wonderful,
sub for
a new
3 months,
child
my
soldier.
friend.
I mean, subscriber.
Yes, I got a new mask. The old one was starting to smell a bit too much. I'm kidding. No, I washed them. But yeah, new mask, a bit more streamed. What happened? I mean, we were getting fucked over by Joel because the game kept glitching on us and not working properly, and the mobs, the insect communist dogs kept attacking us constantly, and we couldn't really manage it. Obviously, I'm lying here. It's a skill issue, and we got annihilated. But it was great playing with. A lot of you chatters, especially while you were watching, but also in the game itself. It was absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, welcome. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place right now because I needed to do a few things, run around town for 20-30 minutes right before
Wonderful, a new child soldier. I mean, subscriber.
Thank you, Ruby Babes, for the resub. Welcome back, my friend. And yeah, today we're going to have a lot of fun. Today is going to be a pretty chill stream. We're going to cover the TikTok ban. We're going to talk about what the fuck is happening with Andrew Tate. We're going to do the meta commentary that only exists here on the Yugopnik stream, which is we're going to watch my own content instead of stealing other people's content. The Tucker Carlson video, in case you missed it. I think it's an interesting analysis of one of the most influential and important reactionaries in the world. And we're going to dissect it from the perspective of how class-conscious, reactionary, right-wing propaganda very much so exists, and is not just fox thumbs that don't, to an extent, know what they're doing. They're just pushing it for money. Tucker Carlson is a much more complex individual, even though his core belief system is extremely simple and basic and reactionary and elitist and class-conscious, but in all the wrong ways. But yeah, welcome. My game is crashing all the time too. Yeah, man. I mean, you gotta struggle. You like the new mask? I mean, it's not really black. You can't see it in this light. It's got these little fucking things on it, like little Rubicons and so on. But it's a lot thinner, so it's easier for me to breathe. Trust me, it gets very hot under this fucking thing. I didn't think that through when it comes to streaming for hours on end while wearing a piece of cloth on your mask. Hello to everybody from YouTube chat as well. You're very welcome. If you want to see your chat pop up on screen, come over on Twitch, and that is how you achieve it. Hello YouTube chat, hello Twitch chat. So yeah, that's kind of the bare bones of what we're gonna get into today. I think it's interesting topics. We'll most likely go off topic massively at a certain point. And yeah, let's have some fun and see how this goes. This week I'm going to be streaming pretty much 4 days, I think. So look out for that. I'm gonna fully dedicate myself to this thing, as I promised you when we hit 1,000 subs back in the day, which obviously disappear as the month goes from one to another. Also, yes, Ramadan Mubarak to everybody who is celebrating. I wish your family a beautiful month and an even more beautiful year to come. Only health and success, however you define success as. With that being said, let's get into the first conversation of the day, which is pretty much the TikTok ban, which, it's a cringe conversation about a social media platform that will potentially be deplatformed. Haha, pun intended. from one side of the coin, but from another, it's a wider discussion on the hypocrisy behind judging certain countries for banning organizations and institutions from its market because they come with a lot of financial baggage, as undemocratic, like in China and Russia when they're banning Western NGOs and so on, but it is completely constitutional and completely in the rights of a progressive and advanced civilizational state such as the United States. But yeah, let's I don't know much about this, so let's listen to one of the cultural angel gods of the United States, which are late show hosts, I guess. And this one that is arguably my least favorite, but yeah, let's check him out.
Say hello to Louis Cato and the Late Joe Band, everybody.
Oh, hello, 12 Mouth. What's the cat goal? The cat goal is 950. 950, you get some cats. There you go. 950 is the cat goal. For those who do not know, ask your fellow chatters, what the fuck are we talking about? What cats, etc., etc. Also, do you like the way the chat looks like now? We are advancing through the world. We are using Chatterino now, which is apparently what all the big guys use. So it should fucking work, okay? Okay, let's house vote on TikTok. Thank you, Ruby Bays, for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very kindly. 6th gift, saving everybody from ads. Speaking of which, an ad is going to play in exactly 45 seconds. If you would like to avoid that and support the show, please do consider becoming a sub for $5 or for free through Prime per month. Thank you and welcome. A classified briefing on TikTok.
This is Turkey. Turkey is a member of the enlarged partial.
What is this Turkish propaganda? What's Turkey? Shut the fuck up, motherfucker. God fucking damn it. I'm out here trying to stream and there's Turkish propaganda getting thrown in here. God fucking damn it. I'm kidding. I love my Turkish chatters, but this is an affront. This is like they plug this only for me. Literally. Classified briefing on TikTok leads to divergent takeaways. House lawmakers are divided on the value of classified briefing held this week, intended to get them up to speed on TikTok's alleged national security risk. Do we know how they voted? House passes TikTok ban bill. Holy shit, chat. America's gonna become even more boring. You can't even have TikTok now. How are you going to melt your brain away from the existential crisis in which you find yourself in by simply attempting to exist in the United States of America? So the House on Wednesday passed a bill that would lead to nationwide ban of the popular video app TikTok if its China-based owner doesn't sell, as lawmakers acted on concerns that the company's current ownership structure is a national security threat, because as we know, the CCP must be controlling them. I love how Western left-wingers and the CCP completely disagree on who has power in the country. And American Congress believes that these massive corporations are under the sway of the Communist Party, while some of our comrades might not think the same way. But yeah, it's an interesting, let's not call it conundrum, but kind of situation. Thank you, Rare Tracks, for the sub through Prime. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. A new child soldier. Subscriber.
The bill passed by a vote 352 to 65 now goes to Senate, where its prospects remain unclear. TikTok, which has more than 150 million American users, is wholly owned subsidiary of Chinese technology firm
ByteDance. A new child soldier.
Thank you. My name is Mega for the sub. Welcome to the community, my friend. Okay, so we have a very, very direct and simple situation here, chat, as you can probably see. The United States Senate pretty much sees a large capital conglomerate which is generating insane amounts of money in the field that they had previously dominated. By they, I mean the American Silicon Valley industry. And they want to take as big of a piece of that cake as they can under the prism of protecting their own national interests. I'm not going to even touch on the incredible hypocrisy of literally the NSA having direct access to absolutely all of your data that is shared on American social media. No, the problem is that maybe another state is going to take the data instead. This obviously directly very much so implies that there is nothing wrong with the data being mined. What is wrong is when we don't get to mine the data. But let's not harp on classic gotchas through hypocrisy. Let's explore this topic and see if there's more complexity. The only thing I'm going to say before we even begin: if they take your TikTok away, it would be beautiful to see a revolution because TikTok was taken away. I can absolutely fucking see it happening, the TikTok revolution, but unironically, my bro, the little crumbs they allow you to survive on, which is, to fucking melt away in the fucking screen daily, even that no longer there, because productivity must increase, young children, and because we know just how much power data is, we cannot allow a foreign dog to interfere with it, which is extra funny for a country pretending that the market is intrinsic to its definition of freedom. A country that believes that it is intrinsic, that freedom of speech is intrinsic to its definition of democracy and freedom. But hey, we've seen the American State Department be much more hypocritical about other things, not just fucking short clip app. Because I'm enjoying I'm feeding off the sadistic pleasure of you guys having a Harry Potter joke. Of course, there was a Harry Potter joke. Of course, the lib did the Harry. Relatively funny, I have to say. Last part was relatively funny. Okay, so U.S. Congress sees arguably the biggest social media in the United States right now, and it says, okay, it's owned by a foreign power, which we define as ideologically and geopolitically opposed to our interests. We do not want this particular institution to operate on our territory as long as it is owned by a foreign power, in this case, foreign capital. Number one, I thought that capital is international and you don't really care where it comes from because we exist in a free market that grows and lifts everyone up as long as everybody chooses to participate in it, domestically or internationally. But okay, when it's foreign capital, bad. This will obviously increase and increase and increase as foreign capital becomes a bigger and bigger player on the world's market. Up until now, they could have gotten away with pretty much owning the majority share in the largest corporations, which directly influence the American market, American mentality, and American definition of what is a high-quality product or not. But as developing countries reach to a point where they are no longer only creating, classic goods like clothes, tables, and car parts, and, light bulbs and your cleaning machines, they will obviously go into what? They will go into software, and they will start creating things that generate incredible amounts of capital for much less investment as compared to other sources of profitability. If one would have genuinely been interested in the American sovereignty, just like sovereignty of any country, they would not bow down before the altar of profit the way they have. So basically what I'm saying is, lie in the shit that you have created.
Wonderful, a new
for
child
yourselves,
soldier,
you
subscriber.
stupid little fucking cucks. Thank you very much, Nair Boss, for the sub with Prime. Welcome to the community, my friend. Number two is what I mentioned previously, spying bad, but only when somebody else does it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these platforms have been doing this much before TikTok was even beginning to sprout as an idea in its creators' minds. And number three on our top hit list of dies of cringe is obviously the number one thing that they've
Wonderful,
constantly
a new
been
child soldier,
screaming at
subscriber.
every fucking country on planet Earth since I know myself, since I've had access to the internet, and that is that it is the definition of authoritarian rule when particular countries ban foreign institutions, foreign companies, foreign NGOs from operating on their own territory, because that is against the core tenets of freedom, which is that, again, the market is above borders and it gets to operate wherever it wants to. You know, the whole spiel about Russia kicking out American NGOs was played as, ha ha ha, so funny. What you think we send our NGOs to influence you guys over there? That is so fucking stupid. And now you're banning it, showing that you do not allow for freedom of choice and freedom of expression, etc., etc. Afterwards, obviously, when China did the same thing, we have the same rhetoric. I mean, you cannot start talking to any normal basic lib about quote-unquote freedom in China without them mentioning that they have their own separate internet and their own separate set of social media platforms, search engines, etc., without that being depicted as authoritarian and fucked up and so on. And you may have an opinion on that, and most likely I would agree that to an extent it's pretty stupid. But to both hold that point, that they are hypocritical assholes, and present the idea that we get to do that without being labeled as authoritarian, is quite literally bullshit. Because, again, the main argument on why TikTok needs to be removed is because it is the capital. It generates capital for China. It generates capital for a Chinese company. They're telling you that this is to protect state interests. They're telling you this is to protect your own data from being leaked to the evil CCP. No, they want in on the fucking cake. Okay, they do not give a shit about anything else. And that is like the majority of actually class-conscious reactionary politicians in what they're doing. The others just want to score easy points because, hey, look, we're being tough on China. Look at us, please vote for us because we are actually protecting America's sovereignty against the invasion of TikTok videos. An argument could be made that TikTok is a really good platform to get informed on all sorts of things, especially things that are not present in mainstream media. Specifically, if you thank you Tsundera-chan for the $5 through Super Chat. Love you, Hugo. Thanks for all you do. Love you too. We wouldn't know like half of the shit that is happening in Palestine, especially in the West. We wouldn't know half of the shit that has been happening in Congo and so on, and is still happening without these sorts of platforms that are less filtered when it comes to how easy it is for large content to be presented there. Platforms that are much more focused on an algorithm that allows very quick growth and therefore does not allow for quick enough moderation to come in and potentially stop that growth, such as what we have on YouTube, for example. If you make a controversial video and it starts exploding, the algorithm will eventually send it to a human who will stop that from getting on the front pages of every single person who clicks on youtube.com, because they are more driven by potential they're more driven by ad revenue, which is much more picky about what their videos actually get played on, what their ads actually get played on, etc., etc., etc. But at the end of the day, it seems to be a question of scoring easy points, wanting to get in on that sweet, sweet TikTok money, and kind of trying to show power towards the rest of the world in a very silly and pathetic way. And third, obviously, is, man, they're not letting you fucking have anything anymore, are they? You can't even melt your brain with some fucking TikTok Warhammer 40k lore, which is basically what I use it for, pretty much. But thank you also, Faros, for the sub through Prime. Thank you very much. And thank you, Nairbos, for the sub through Prime. I really appreciate it. Welcome both to the community. We're trying to grow this thing and become as sustainable as possible, while in return you get, obviously, no ads, and you get very, very cool emojis, and also you get to make me proud of myself, I guess. So let's watch this other one from...
This morning,
Chinese-owned from today. TikTok launches a lobbying effort. TikTok launched a lobbying effort, chat, encouraging users to help stop
TikTok wading into American politics as Congress is set to vote later this morning on a bill with the potential to ban the wildly popular app if it's not divested by its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, within 6 months. TikTok launching an all-out lobbying effort, encouraging its
And thank you, Mad Cat, for the first 5 gifted subs from you. Thank you very much. Saved 5 people from ads. Thank you kindly. And we are over that 903 point for the subs. Thank you. And thank you, Jet Sector, for the sub through Prime. Welcome.
users to come to its defense.
Speaking of subs, an ad is going to play in exactly 40 seconds. If you want to avoid that, do exactly what these beautiful people did.
TikTok! You need to make your voices heard.
Call them and tell them to stop the ban.
Sending influencers, along with its CEO, to Washington, where it has a healthy lobbying operation, and even releasing ads.
TikTok helps me to achieve the mission that God put.
Telling people, hey, if you disagree with this, go talk to your whatever representative is now lobbying. Now that's lobbying. Chat, am I lobbying right now? Chat, are we doing lobbying? Is this lobbying right now? Is this lobbying? I thought lobbying was giving money to someone to do a particular thing, giving them funding, etc., etc. But no. These influencers are so stupid they will do it for free. So why not force them?
Me on this.
Same like TikTok.
Wonderful. A new
This
child
is-
soldier. I mean, subscriber.
This is how do I put this? This is as much lobbying as it was blaming school shootings on TikTok. This is as much
Wonderful. A
lobbying
new child
as
soldier. I
blaming
mean,
kids
subscriber.
doing extremely stupid things like, I don't know, hitting people on the street for a trend and blaming it on TikTok. No, that is a consequence of your slowly rotting, destabilized, fucked up society in which people see no fucking way to get out of the deep hole that they have found themselves in, so they are more prone to right-wing radicalization and eventually fucking mass murder. But no. It's TikTok that causes all of these fucking problems. And now, not only is it causing all those problems, but it's now lobbying our youth and even our pastors, as you can see, to go and pester our democratic elected representatives about potentially leaving them with that little smidge of crack that they get to do every day for free on their phone for a few fucking hours.
Earth to do.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are concerned about the potential for the Chinese government to access the data of TikTok's 170 million plus American users.
This app has the potential of being a mass surveillance tool against American people.
The U.S. government has said in the past that Chinese companies, including ByteDance, are compelled to share their data with the Chinese government. TikTok has repeatedly denied that ByteDance is an agent of the Chinese government, adding in a new statement, this legislation has a predetermined outcome, a total ban of TikTok in the United States. And lawmakers are also worried about TikTok's influence on young people's mental health. A former Google executive turned critic told 60 Minutes, look no further than how different China's version is.
They show you science experiments you can do at home, museum exhibits, patriotism videos, and educational videos. And they make their domestic version a spinach version of TikTok, while they ship the opium version to the rest of the world.
And
Shut the fuck up, you stupid fucking cunt. They make their domestic version. They manage their domestic version, okay? They manage their domestic version. The one they send abroad is the one based on your fucking beautiful ideas of what? Of free market and free expression and free speech and so on. The amount of shit this same fucking pasty ass, whoever the fuck he is, would be screaming if the Chinese actually managed what content you get to see on TikTok would be absolutely fucking unimaginable. So they are not managing the content. They're the bad guys. If they manage the content, they're the bad guys. If they take the data, they're the bad guys. If they don't take the data, they're the bad guys, because what the fuck, you're not gathering data. You need to give us the data. Or if you don't get the data, you don't have an advertising platform, and therefore you're not making money. And therefore, how you're making money? Oh, you must be getting money from the CCP. There's no fucking winning with American rhetoric about what is freedom, because that's the most beautiful thing Americans have ever invented. It's fairy dust, mumbo jumbo. Like, you can call freedom anything you fucking want.
there are concerns about misinformation spreading on the app in an
Yes, Chad, exactly. Just China bad, I guess. China bad. And China, not even necessarily good. China, okay? China's China. It has nothing to do with the innate insane hypocrisy that we're seeing, especially through a fucking app. And I can't believe I'm losing my shit even in the beginning of the fucking stream talking about the fucking app. But it's kind of fucking worth it because it's a perfect representation of everything that we try to pinpoint here as absolute imperial lunacy, dude.
Election year.
They can make you believe things that are not true.
As the candidates are weighing in, former President Donald Trump has recently signaled opposition to the ban after previously supporting it. The Washington Post reporting that former Trump advisor Kelly...
Because it's such a soy boy thing to do, even for like his voting body, dude.
Leanne Conway is defending TikTok on Capitol Hill and that she has told Trump many of his supporters are on TikTok. President Biden, for his part, says he'd sign the bill that could ban TikTok, even as his campaign uses the platform to court voters.
The state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
Now, TikTok says it does not believe a divestment deal could be done within a 6-month timeline. And Savannah, we reached out to TikTok overnight about those concerns about its impact on youth mental health and the differences with the Chinese version of the app. We have not heard back, but the company has said in the past that it does offer screen time limits for young people. Savannah?
All right. Thank you very much.
By the way, it's
Wonderful.
very weird how I'm losing
soldier.
subs and getting
subscriber.
subs because I think we streamed and it was a very successful stream on the 13th of the last month. So those that had subbed and a month has passed and have not resubbed disappear, and then you guys come in and reappear. That's why the bar is moving left and right constantly. And thank you very much, Blue3742, for the resub.
Savannah, let's turn now to longtime tech journalist Kara Swisher, host of the Pivot podcast and On with Kara Swisher, and also the author of the new book, Burn Book, a tech love story. Kara, good morning. I don't know how much love you have for TikTok this morning. Before we get into the particulars, can you just lay out for people, particularly young people who might love it because they keep in touch with their friends, people think it's amusing, their cat videos.
Thank you, Asinidia, for the sub.
Wonderful. A new child soldier. Subscriber.
And they love their TikTok. What is the national...
Man, she doesn't know what TikTok is. The people that use TikTok to stay in touch with their friends and share cat videos. I am very in touch with the audience that I am preaching to.
Security issue here?
Well, there's a couple. There's obviously surveillance, and that's been a concern. But I think probably what the legislators are thinking about more is propaganda. Can you imagine China owning NBC or a Washington Post or a big company? They're not allowed to. And so
yeah, but you complain when Russia or China don't play CNN or BBC or Fox News over in their part of the world. That's also problematic.
Many people think of this as a media company. We also in the U.S. our U.S. companies aren't allowed access to China, so that would be among the concerns that they're doing, and that there is.
Yeah, but they then say it that way. Yo, we don't have access to your shit. Fuck your shit. Get the fuck out. Okay, extremely problematic, but from both perspectives and not hypocritical. But you cannot be a country that says that it bases itself on the constitutional right to freedom of speech and the constitutional right of free assembly and the constitutional right of the market dictating who gets to be big in what industry or not. While doing this, you don't get to say it anymore. That's all I'm fucking pushing here. Okay.
Probably an influence of China on these companies, whether they say or not, because that's what happens throughout Chinese companies.
By the way, just noting that China bans international social media platforms like Facebook and X from its own borders. You mentioned surveillance. Now, the bill before us would say to TikTok's parent company, which is called ByteDance, either divest yourself of ByteDance and the Chinese connection,
Wonderful.
Sell to
a new child
a
soldier.
US owner,
Subscriber.
Example, or you will be
Thank
banned.
you, Shia Communist, for
Isn't the cat kind of out of the bag? I mean, a 2020 Commerce report found that
the cat's been out of the bag since you fucking subscribe to the free market as your guiding ideology. This is just the first example of this sort of rhetoric and this sort of situation. They can try and build as many walls as they can, but as we previously said, the more these countries move from developing, the more they move from places that you outsource cheap labor to, into countries which have enough capital and enough levels of education and enough direction to create aspects which they could do, so they can influence aspects and industries which they no longer could before. Obviously, it's going to eventually start impacting the global market. And the biggest fucking consumer demographic on the global market is the United States of America, because they still have the most money. But obviously, these companies that are, again, profit-driven, the thing you fucking bow down before always, will come to America because that's where you make the most fucking money. And this is just the first example of something that is going to very much so snowball over the years as more and more tech companies don't produce stuff domestically and then sell it abroad. But turns out in those particular countries, maybe the free market isn't the fucking god and they manage it locally. But when they send it to you guys, they don't manage it because they know you're going to lose your shit even harder if they do. And obviously, for sure, like some people in a boardroom somewhere in the Chinese Communist Party and even arguably in TikTok's parent company have said, yeah, it's a good thing that we're letting their fucking brain rot over on TikTok, which I genuinely don't believe is the truth. Dude, TikTok has an algorithm based on the type of content that you fucking watch. That's the type of fucking shit that it gives you. I don't have brain rot on my TikTok. Here and there it pops up, but 85% of the shit that I watch is shit I'm genuinely
Wonderful,
fucking
a new
interested
child
in.
soldier,
But maybe that's
subscriber.
because I'm not based in the United States of America, so maybe they're not giving me the degenerate shit, etc., etc. I don't even think that's how it fucking works. Maybe in China people are more interested in patriotic shit or science shit and so on. That's why the fucking app keeps giving them that more. They're more content creators that create that sort of shit, instead of in the United States where you literally have houses that you fill with child workers, like 20 of them, and you force them to fucking print out TikToks as fast as possible so they can enter the fucking demonic, whatever weird ass fucking Hollywood cult of personality that they're trying to build for themselves. Maybe that's also a factor, but no, let's not think about that. Not at all, not at all. They are intentionally sending it. Even if they're intentionally sending it, okay, you're being fucked over. React to it. Say, we do not believe in freedom of speech. We do not believe in the market being above all. National interests come first, and we become the same country as, for example, Russia. Okay, fucking embrace that. Fucking put on those glasses. But don't pitch this as some sort of defense of our children against, the influence by the evil CCP or whatever the fuck.
China is already building massive databases.
The design is very human. Yes, Vijay Demona, yeah.
Of Americans' personal information to help the Chinese government to further its intelligence gathering. Hasn't the
Yeah, knives 128. That is my solution. Everywhere, internationally, in every single fucking spot on planet Earth, ban data collection. Fuck you, ban data collection. You can set it up in a particular way that you can only get information which can be reused to advertise, because, we still exist in the market, and then they somehow need to make bread, and these pages need to self-sustain. Or maybe move into a system where you can only,
Čvrsta ruka, batine I zatvori.
where you can make a lot of money from particular premium functions of it, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into the details of whatever my pitch is, but the obvious solution is banning data collection in general. That's supposed to be the fucking conversation. And it's not supposed to be, hey, TikTok data collection bad because it goes to China. No, data collection in general bad. But obviously they're not going to talk about this because the United States is the most impressive and massive fucking, it has the biggest and most impressive state apparatus for surveillance. And by the way, thank you very much, Gremlo, for the raid. Please share a link over to their Twitch channel, modders. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Ugopnik Twitch experience. We are right now covering the TikTok ban, which is, I think, an interesting conversation to an extent, not only because it's a fucking app that these old gremlins that call themselves the representative of the American people are trying to ban. No, it's also interesting because it's a perfect allegory for the hypocrisy of believing in American values and so on when it comes to the situation where they no longer serve you. Freedom for me, but not for thee. Also, thank you very much, Sir Glob, for the prime sub. Welcome, my friend. Let's continue the shit. And yeah, welcome to the Raiders, and thank you very much for the raid.
Ship sailed?
No, because it keeps sailing. You know, this is an ongoing information war. You talk about wars, it's all happening in cyberspace. And so the more information you have, the more surveillance you have, the more data you have, the stronger you're going to be. And so I think the worries is that this is, and you know,
the worries are that we are not the ones collecting this data, and we cannot both monetize this data and use it to better direct the path we want our country to go in. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat this until I fucking hammer it in your fucking head. They don't give a shit about any of these fucking principles about them stealing They want the capital that this company is making, the fucking dinero, the money. They want the money, and they want the fucking data, which is more important than the fucking money. That is what this whole fucking conversation is about. Absolutely nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. But the conversation from our perspective as quote-unquote class-conscious analysts, or whatever the fuck you want to call us, chat. Yes, I call chat analysts. There you go. You can put it in your LinkedIn bio now. From our perspective, it's interesting because it's a direct affront to everything that they state is the core tenets of their ideology and their worldview and their position as the, international hegemon of what it means to build a quote-unquote free country.
About the spy balloon hanging over the U.S. A lot of people put this out. It's 107.
Rules TV. Do you think they'll sell TikTok or just pull out? And the influence, the ability to, do you think they'll sell TikTok or just pull out? They said that there's a very low chance of pulling out, but capital is capital. So if they don't call the bluff on the Americans about the potential ban, they will most likely sell and keep a certain percentage because they don't want to lose absolutely all of that money. Even if it's banned, an alternative to TikTok, which is American, will pop up. It will depend on the people that actually use TikTok on whether they're gonna adapt to the new system. Blah 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 blah. But it's a stare down contest. Do they bite the bullet or do they not? Do they blink, so to say, or they continue driving as the spotlights of the incoming traffic car get closer and closer and closer? That's going to be a game between the American State Department and private owners and the state owners of TikTok. There can be a very direct winner. We'll see how it goes. But the motivation behind arguably both groups is, hey, I want the data and I want the money. Go fuck yourself.
70 million spy balloons. And I think probably propaganda is the focus.
And yeah, Rules TV, I would rather TikTok gets banned than ByteDance sells it. Because if it sells it, then the Americans are just going to get all your data and the Americans are going to get all your money, which I don't know. And it's interesting conversation point for all of us that don't live in that fucking country. How is it going to influence international TikTok? Like, how is it going to influence my TikTok as well? And it's extra dangerous because it sets a fucking ridiculous precedent, which is going to make things even more fucking complicated. Because as we said, this is a very weak wall that they're building in front of the first international large tech company that is coming into the country. But if they set it now as a precedent, they will have to repeat that fucking policy for every single large piece of software that comes and dominates, the United States, both financially and culturally, that comes from abroad. So, it's literally a completely parasitic, fucking hypocritical entity.
Wonderful.
That,
a new child soldier.
It could go very,
subscriber.
very, very 1978, as cringe people in chat might say. Thank you, Gabrielle Bourne, for the sub. Welcome to the community, my friend.
And mental health. But, that's an issue with all the other social media platforms, too.
Well, as mentioned, the legislation isn't an outright ban. It creates this opportunity for a sale. Do you think that would be likely to happen? Someone would swoop in and buy TikTok, so you'd still have your TikTok, you just wouldn't have it linked and it functionally owned by the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, if it is, let's be clear, we don't know that. But one of the issues is, what do you get when you buy it? Because they're not going to give us the algorithm. Because if they give us the algorithm, we can see, in fact, if they've been spying, and we can see if they've been using propaganda. And so what do you get? You get the TikTok name and you get the users. Can you recreate the magic of TikTok? And I think that's one of the issues here. But there'll be lots of buyers for this thing. It makes a lot of money. It's the most popular app. And so it's a great brand. And the question is, can you remake it if you pull it out of the current configuration it's in?
TikTok has been on a major PR blitz. I see ads all the time, all day long. They've got lobbyists on Capitol Hill. They actually asked their users, many of them minor children, according to lawmakers, to flood congressional offices with phone calls saying, don't take away my TikTok. Do you think it's working?
They're flooding. They're flooding. They sent a notification, hey, if you like the platform, you probably don't want it to be banned. And again, as a private institution in your country where that is the holiest of holies, that's supposed to be allowed. But no, that's lobbying. That's lobbying. And them having ads about TikTok is now somehow flooding everything in order to influence public opinion on it. This is fucking... I'm tired of this. I'm very tired of this.
I don't think so. I think actually it's been a backlash against it. It's, it's kind of a little heavy-handed, but what are they going to do? They have to say we're good for America, I guess. This Chinese-owned government, Chinese-owned app is good for America, and that's a good argument for them. I don't know if it's going to work because for the obvious reasons. I think Congress is very determined to do that, and President Trump certainly was before he wasn't. He was for it until he was against it, I guess.
All right. President Biden, meanwhile, says he will sign the bill if it comes to his desk. But, of course, others have noted that the Biden campaign just joined TikTok. So we've got people all over the place. Kara Swisher. Yeah, exactly. Kara Swisher, author of Burn Book. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank
you. See what the Chinese say, eh?
Hey,
well, teenagers don't often pay close...
See the other side of the coin, eh? One that does not pretend that the market is the God King.
Attention to US congressional votes, but they may be doing that today because what's happening, about to happen in Washington is hugely important to that younger demographic. TikTok banned...
To that younger demographic, as if like not everybody uses TikTok. So fucking out of touch, it's legendary.
Bring every angle of this story with Lauren Fox, who is on Capitol Hill, Mark Stewart is in Beijing, and Claire Duffy is in New York for us. Lauren, let's start with you.
An absolutely buzzard man, great name. I miss Lively, because I do as well. And also, it's definitely a factor that this app, which is not pioneering, letting you see a lot of things in an incredibly uncensored manner. They're not pioneering this, but they're pioneering being such a massively used app, which allows you to do that. That is definitely also a factor when it comes to the United States Department's perspective on the particular app. Again, we like the amount of radicalization when it comes to the genocide in Gaza would be nowhere even close to what we have right now if we didn't see that footage constantly, even at moments when we want to just turn off and just browse this fucking thing, right? So that's definitely a big thing because they only want their talking heads spewing their incredibly ideologically quoted perspectives, and yet now we are sitting and we are literally a country in which absolutely all of media is so innately and insanely subjective, a country where I would argue that except for independent journalists or a few free-floating, free-spirited heads in some of the larger publications, you do not have media that even attempts to be unbiased, because we all know that unbiased media doesn't exist, but at least attempt it. A country that absolutely does not have this, to sit here and say that it's problematic for a social media platform to exist due to its potential influence on young minds and its potential ability to direct ideology in the country is fucking hilarious. If that is the reason we're banning TikTok, you need to ban absolutely fucking media house in your fucking country. But no, we don't mind that because it's locally owned, even though to an extent it's not locally owned very much. So Google where fucking Rupert Murdoch is from, okay? But that's a conversation they don't want to have. Thank you, Toasty Android, for the sub. Welcome, my friend, to the community.
Wonderful, a new child soldier, subscriber.
Why are so many lawmakers so exercised about this, so worried about TikTok?
Yeah, this has been building for a long time on the Hill, and their key concern is the national security implications of teenagers and Americans at large using this app. Many lawmakers don't use it themselves because of concerns about their data being shared with the Chinese government. The other concern that exists here is one of which some members who are voting against this bill say that they do not want to take away the freedom of users to operate this app. Now, I think that those two things exist in some ways, not in a vacuum, but lawmakers are going to be having this vote today on the House floor. It's going to require a 2/3 majority. They're bringing it under a suspension of the rules, which means it would have to get a huge number of bipartisan members, Republicans and Democrats, to back it. And leaders are very confident that they are going to be able to get there, despite the fact that there are some Democrats who are warning that this could have political implications for President Joe Biden when he tries to rally the youth vote.
Oh, let's only look at the fucking short term, the political implications. Political implications of banning a fucking company only because it's foreign. That's the only implications that are going to exist. Not the next 100 years and the thousands of foreign social media platforms that are going to come to the country. No.
To the polls. Here's what they said.
I don't think it'll be helpful with young voters. But, you know, my argument here, yes, it has to do with young people, but taking a step back, I just think it's bad policy.
Successful politics is addition and multiplication.
I don't know how to fucking mute the weird noise, okay? Don't fucking assholes.
And cutting out a large group of young voters is not the best known strategy for re-election.
Now, President Joe Biden has said that he plans to sign this bill if it gets to his desk. But if the House can get it out of their chamber today, it then goes to the United States Senate. And the future is a little less certain over there. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said yesterday at a press conference he was still looking at the bill, still thinking about the path forward. So a lot of questions on whether or not this is going to have a chance on the floor in the United States Senate. Becky?
Let me get to you then, Mark. Lauren, thank you. Let's get to Beijing. Mark, what are Chinese
that's what I was fucking waiting for. Okay,
saying about this?
The other side of the coin.
You know, it's interesting. We've heard a lot of talk between the United States and China lately about trying to create a competitive business relationship between the two nations. But then we have this lingering wound being TikTok. In fact, Becky, it was almost a year ago to the day that we were talking about a hearing involving TikTok. But the feeling from Beijing is really portraying the United States almost as a weak competitor in the global arena. Just a few hours ago here in Beijing, I talked to a spokesperson from...
Yeah, you little free market is going to create the best things. Why don't you create something better than TikTok? Isn't that the way you're going to kick it out properly and democratically? Just make a better TikTok, eh? Make a better TikTok. You had created Vine, but then the Chinese were like, let's make a better Vine. And guess what fucking happened, baby? Make something better, baby. It's the fucking free market, baby. Fucking come on, let's go.
From China's Ministry of Foreign...
Call it Bok or something. Call it Burgerberg. Call it McDonald's talk.
Affairs, and I asked him, regardless of what happens with United States lawmakers, there is this feeling of distrust toward Chinese companies from American lawmakers, but also American citizens. Let's take a listen as to what he had to say.
Even though the U.S. has not found evidence on how TikTok endangers its national security, it has never stopped going after TikTok. Such practice of resorting to acts of bullying, when one could not succeed in fair competition, disrupts the normal operation of the market. It undermines the confidence of international investors.
Okay, kind of hypocritical of China because they also ban all the Western shit. Okay, let me not be just, America bad. Because I get a lot of criticism. Your government is just America bad. Okay, this is hypocritical as well.
And sabotages the global economic and trade order.
But from the perspective of they never claimed that they are a bastion of fucking free speech and the free market, from that perspective, it's not hypocritical. But saying this to an extent is.
This will eventually backfire on the U.S. itself.
America bad, though.
I also asked the spokesperson,
Yeah, this will eventually backfire.
are you, being the Chinese government, are you advising TikTok on how to conduct itself, how to handle these hearings? But the response I got was pretty much the same response as you just heard, very much scripted. Becky, this is a story that's getting a lot of headlines in the United States, but not so much here.
We've watched how many? 5 talking heads by now? 5 talking heads, American talking heads. They said the absolute same thing, but that's not scripted. That's...
in Beijing. It's not a big headline in the daily news cycle.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Let me bring in Claire, because I think our viewers will be interested to understand a little bit more about how this would work. I mean, clearly at this point, the effort is to try and get ByteDance, who is the Chinese tech giant that owns TikTok, to divest of its interest in what is this popular video app, or face a ban in the United States. Jake Sullivan explaining this is about basically,
And the House has voted to pass a bipartisan bill that could lead to a
current events, so they have passed it. the present tense moment.
nationwide ban of TikTok.
On this vote, the yeas
Divest means give it to us. That's what it means.
are 352, the nays are 65. 1 present, 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed. And without the objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Lawmakers have been raising concerns about TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, warning that the app could give the Chinese government access to the data of millions.
Yay votes. That puts a lot of pressure on the Senate and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to take some kind of action on this bill because of how big that margin was. And we just saw moments ago after this bill passed.
They're going to push it harder and harder during the elections as well. They're going to cut it up just like every social, quote-unquote, issue that they have in the United States. Republicans are going to be one way, except for a few Republicans. Democrats are going to be the other way, except for a few Democrats, and they're going to fight in the arena of being pro or against this particular thing, in this case, investing or de-investing. They will respin whatever perspective they have towards the TikTok ban so that it better suits their potential voter body, and then they will continuously scream at each other because from their perspective, which they have defined as something that can get them more votes than the other thing. And it's classic fucking shit.
2 pretty significant members of the Senate, the chair and vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner and Marco Rubio, formally endorsed this legislation. So that carries a lot of weight when you talk about trying to force Chuck Schumer, or at least push Chuck Schumer, to put this bill on the floor for a vote. Again, what's in this legislation, just to be clear, is it would seek to force a sale of TikTok from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, within 6 months if the legislation becomes law. And only if that sale does not occur could TikTok then be banned on app stores and on web hosting services and things of that nature. So TikTok is calling this legislation a ban. Champions of this legislation, again, Republicans and Democrats alike, are saying that this is a forced sale, and only if ByteDance doesn't act, if this becomes law, could the app be banned.
So, Elizabeth, what's the likelihood here that ByteDance does sell?
Well, and this is going to be the question is, A, does it pass the Senate? Does this legislation get through Congress ultimately? And then B, can this get through the legal hurdles to for China to allow the sale to happen?
Dwarfson, are they also going to stop Meta and other social media corporations from selling info to foreign nations? Are you fucking kidding me? No. At that point, your data is commodity and it gets to be sold to whoever fucking wants it. But the optics of a foreign party's influence over a particular company is perfect for you to quite literally demonize them, pull them out of the crowd, and point how you are being strong and you're stepping on the invaders of our young voting bodies, minds, and souls.
That's an outstanding question. And then what would that actually look like, Diane? We haven't really seen this kind of a sale that's been forced from the U.S. In the past, there have been instances where the government has said a Chinese company needs to cut ties, but that's been a complete sale of the company. What we're talking about here is really just the U.S. business splitting off from the Chinese owner, ByteDance. And that raises a whole host of questions. What the law itself would look like if it does go into effect is that the app would no longer be available on the App Store or on Google Play. Eventually, that would make it impossible for users to use. You couldn't keep updating the app like you would need to, and it wouldn't be available on websites. But this is undoubtedly going to raise some questions about free speech. We have seen the small amount of lawmakers who voted against it today say this has the First Amendment questions that have been raised. We've seen that already raised in courts. So questions about what happens in Congress and then what happens from there in the legal process, too.
And Selena, President Biden's campaign joined TikTok last month.
All social media needs to be open source. All information gathered needs to go into a system which does not allow its sharing with any private or state institutions. It should be easily modified, it should be accessible by all, and it should be moderated by a strict code, which does not allow, stuff like hate speech and so on. And that's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. And if you would allow that, you would not even necessarily need 20 different social media platforms. There could be one gigantic one which can pretty much cover all those needs by having different subsections and different systems that exist into it. Think Reddit, but on hardcore steroids and without the basement-dwelling Nazis, right? And open source. Obviously, not owned by a private entity. The second there's a private entity, there is capital to be gained from the extraction and the selling of that particular information, because that is pretty much the main commodity you get from running a social media platform. So in order to avoid this whole conversation about who is spying on who, to avoid this whole conversation about the influence on young minds, it is always going to be influenced from a particular lens as long as it is owned by a particular party. If it is not owned by anybody, pretty much, then it can serve the interest of everyone, and it can actually be a social media platform bringing us together, allowing us to understand the world a bit better, allowing us to understand each other a bit better, allowing us to express ourselves outside of our limited physical existence, and so on and so on. But no, we're not going to have this conversation. It's bad because the Asian man owns it.
Month, but then on Friday he said he would sign a bill to ban TikTok if it did pass. How is the White House addressing what appears to be some mixed messaging there?
Yeah, Diane, I mean, the White House really struggles to answer that question. Just yesterday, I said, if the president's so concerned about the national security risks, why is his campaign posting on it? But look, the White House also trying to frame this, as you heard what Jay and Elizabeth say, saying it's not an outright ban, it would force a sale. But the reality is it would face a lot of legal challenges if it got through the Senate, was signed by the president, and China would likely block it because it would need the Chinese government's approval. And Diane, we've been in this exact place before throughout the years where they've tried to force a sale on TikTok, and it just didn't work. But after that 2020 attempt from Donald Trump to get it banned, China actually changed its regulations so that it actually bars the export of certain technologies, including technologies like the algorithm that underpins TikTok. So the question of where it goes from here could be a long road ahead. And Diane, to set this into context, this is really just the latest shoe to drop in the broader U.S.-China technology Cold War, the effort to try and split off sensitive technologies from each other. The U.S. has banned giant Huawei telecommunications firm from the United States, but to move into the arena of apps and software behind export controls on chips and telecommunications, that would have a sweeping effect because there are many Chinese companies that are influential in the software space. And as we mentioned,
I mean, yeah, there's nothing more to touch on, really. They're going to just repeat the same shit that they've said in all the previous 5 videos that we've seen. The United States wants the capital that TikTok is producing to, like, even more big of a piece of that pie. Number one. Number two, it's a great way to unify voters that give a shit about this topic. And by topic, I mean appearing strong against the Chinese enemy when it comes to the, incoming elections. And that's it. That's it. That's the thing. It's as simple as that. The only interesting thing we can get out of this as kind of a talking point from a socialist perspective is that it is a great depiction of American hypocrisy and how it doesn't care about anything except preserving itself in the position of a hegemon, and to an extent it's sometimes even willing to look past its core principle of the free market, as long as it gets to keep itself there. From a straight orthodox Marxian analysis, these are two different bourgeois tribes, two different capitalist tribes fighting amongst each other. Kind of an internal class war, if you want to call it, that has always happened and throughout most of history has led to most of the actual wars that we've seen after the revolution post-feudal, the revolution that brought us out of feudalism, pretty much, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Tucker Carlson, Chris Cuomo interview. Šta, blядь, koj kurac? Tucker Carlson, Cuomo. Lol, this is 2 hours. God fucking damn it. Conversation part 1. Is there a summary? No, this is too long. Let's see. This is popping up everywhere. I know absolutely nothing on the topic. Crisis in Haiti. Thank you very much for the $5 Lumpen Lodge. Step into the Lodge of the Lumpen. Stepping in, my friend. Thank you kindly. Speaking of donations, in exactly 1.5 minutes, an ad is going to play. If you would like to avoid those ads, support this show, and have a much better viewing experience, please do consider becoming a sub for $5 or for free through Prime. Don't let me be banned, just like TikTok. Make this sustainable. Thank you very much.
A few minutes ago, Haiti is on a brink of becoming a failed state. A gangland rebellion is ripping through the republic. The prime minister has announced he will step down once a transitional presidential council is in place. But will the gang leaders at the heart of the fighting reject that plan, continuing to put Haitians at the center of the crisis? The human toll, hunger, violence, and unrest has been unthinkable. Our Matt Rivers, who's been reporting on conditions there now for years, takes us back to Haiti to see that toll firsthand.
Haiti is collapsing. The country has been ravaged by 2 weeks of chaos, of bloodshed, of intense fighting and horrific human suffering with no obvious way out. Port-au-Prince is no stranger to gang violence, but an unholy alliance has emerged between the most powerful armed groups, now unified behind this man, Jimmy Chersier, a.k.a. Barbecue.
Premier étape dans la bataille, nous c'est retirer Ariel Henry sous pouvoir. Ensuite, pour nous déclencher bataille réelle contre le pouvoir et pour nous déclencher bataille réelle contre le système qui est là, système oligarque corrompu, politicien traditionnel corrompu.
And that first step, now done. The unelected Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, resigned on Monday after agreeing to a transitional government. Henry now out after weeks of horrific violence led by Barbecue, Haiti's most notorious gang leader. He and his soldiers have launched massive coordinated assaults around.
Whenever there is a power vacuum, these sorts of guys always try and get in. Absolute classic.
Port-au-Prince for nearly 2 weeks. Dozens of police stations, many destroyed. Gang members even showing off stolen body armor. Constant assaults at the airport forced it to shut down too.
Avec manchette et nous-mêmes et je dis à nous des armes nous n'a gommé pour nous libérer pays.
But the people he says he's trying to free, ordinary Haitians, are being decimated by the fighting. The violence has paralyzed Port-au-Prince, a hellscape now cut off from the outside world. Hospitals around the city show the human toll. In this major hospital, no doctors or nurses can even make it to work to help the patients. Gangs have barricaded off entire sections of the city to slow down police, attacking those who dare cross. Haiti was struggling before this crisis broke out, among the worst hunger crises in the world.
This crisis existed before. There were 1.6 million people in Port-au-Prince who didn't have enough to eat before this crisis. This is making things worse.
Things are so bad in Port-au-Prince, even the director of the World Food Program for Haiti can't get in. He spoke to us from Cap-Haïtien, a city in the north. This warehouse full of food that people in Port-au-Prince could certainly use.
The further you are from the imperial periphery, the harder you're hit as the imperial core starts further destabilizing. I don't know enough about Haiti to properly comment on their particular situation, but this is something that we see continuously repeat throughout the last fucking century. You have particular governments that serve the needs of other foreign powers. Those foreign powers no longer see a need for them. They are ousted from power, and then that hole gets filled by many different warring factions, which want to fill it with their position and their representation in the name of some other superpower. It gets extra complicated when nobody really cares anymore, and everything just goes completely to shit. A great example being Libya right now, for example.
But even if WFP wanted to send it, they can't.
To me, Haiti is like one of the saddest fucking places on planet Earth. It's just beautiful people. I met so many Haitians and so on. It's constant shit. Like they don't get a moment of fucking peace, like, at all.
The capital city is blocked.
There's no way in and out that's safe. With the port now being closed, the real risk is that the 1.6 million people in Port-au-Prince who are acutely food insecure could tip into famine. This is one of the most extreme situations I've ever seen as an aid worker.
Dozens of gang members and nearly a half-dozen police have been killed in the fighting, while thousands of citizens have been forced to flee from their homes. Over the weekend, the U.S. evacuated non-essential
citizens fleeing that American right-wing politicians will call invading hordes. Can't wait.
Essential embassy personnel in the night, choppering in Marines to reinforce the embassy. The State Department urging Americans to leave. Haitians, though, have nowhere else to go. It all led to this week, a series of emergency meetings in Jamaica with Haitian stakeholders, regional leaders, and even the U.S. Secretary of State. Henri resigns, and now in his place, a soon-to-be set-up council of 7 people who collectively will act as Haiti's president. The question, is that enough to stop the violence? Haiti has long been in decline.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
I've been there many times in the last few years, including last year, as farmers struggled to sell their produce amongst gang rule. Countless others went hungry, forced to eat mud pies, a mixture of mud, salt, and butter.
No one wants to eat this.
Yeah, but if you're starving, you get to.
So what now? How does the violence end? In the short term, Barbecue says it's simple.
Je pense que on apprend yon pause juste pour nous évaluer situation, juste pour permettre que gon chita parler qui fait entre toute couche sociale dans le pays, entre groupe armé.
Take that with a grain of salt. Barbecue is also a disgraced former policeman, accused of planning a 2018 massacre that killed dozens, sanctioned by the U.S. and the UN. His gangs have terrorized this country for years with murders, kidnappings, and extortion, taking advantage of a political vacuum. But a ceasefire in any form would be welcome relief.
Bon, j'aimerais payer la situation pays à l'IFM. Non, c'est la gagne game. Je confesse que mon Dieu, seulement après ça, on va équiper Espagne encore.
That's what Caribbean.
Yeah, there is very little hope to be had in places like Haiti in general. Unless they find some mine ores or some, good old freedom oil. That's just going to be the forever case. I don't know enough about the particular situation, Haiti, to comment on. I just
Wonderful.
wanted to
A new
raise some
child
awareness
soldier.
by playing it
subscriber.
on stream, I guess. That was my idea. Thank you, Scarf Monster. So cute for the sub for 1 month. Thank you very, very kindly. With this, we move into something that I know a lot about, and let's switch it up to something more positive. And that is apparently Andrew Tate faces extradition to the corrupt United Kingdom, where he might be able to be saved, versus the great Romanian People's Republic, where he got so humbled and so motherfucking cocked, baby. Let's learn more about the situation. We're gonna do a meta view of Hassan's coverage of this, because I cannot be bothered to go into the details. Apparently, he has been betrayed, snitched on by one of his boys. Let's see if that's the truth.
Controversial social media influencer Andrew Tate has told the BBC Tonight that he has nothing to fear after a court in Romania ruled he and his brother Tristan can be extradited back to the UK. Now, they face several allegations, including rape and human trafficking over...
Just as you do, yeah, man, the fucking coppers want to get me, man. Why, dude? What did you do? The first implication is, I had some weed. They caught me on a train, blah, blah, blah. No, it's the R word and human trafficking. Just classic things you get just randomly, accused of, especially in a combination between the two.
A number of years. They categorically reject the claims. Well, Nick Beek is live in the Romanian capital, Bucharest, for us now. Nick, you caught up with Mr. Tate. What did he have to say?
Yeah, good evening, Clive. Of course, Andrew Tate, one of the most Googled people on the planet, and back in the spotlight once again today. Tonight, he and his brother are back at their home. They've been allowed to return here, and they're claiming that as a victory in itself. But still, Mr. Tate faces extremely serious allegations, both here in Romania and also in the UK, with now the possibility, the prospect of extradition. As I caught up with him earlier tonight, he was defiant.
Back at his house in Bucharest after another day in custody, Andrew Tate and his brother praised the Romanian court for letting them come home, for now.
The UK now, as they've seen that we're going to be found innocent in Romania, have decided to try and weaponize Romanian courts to put us back in jail, and that has failed, and justice has come through tonight for us, which is fantastic.
But the Romanian judge did not find them innocent. Instead, she agreed to an extradition request from British police, who are investigating allegations of rape and human trafficking, as I put to Andrew Tate tonight.
If you may have looked at someone wrong or sped in a car in 2012, they're going to try and put you in jail for it.
But Bedfordshire police are looking into very serious allegations, but you must accept that they're very serious allegations.
If you interrupt me again, sir, please. So what happens is, when you get to a certain level of fame, they go through your entire life forensically and try and destroy you.
Earlier, they had been brought before a judge to hear that they will be sent to the UK, but not until after a Romanian court has itself tried them on similar, unrelated charges, and, if found guilty, any prison sentence has been served. Both men have denied all the charges.
The sad part about this hardcore bitch behavior, in my opinion, is that his fans fucking consider this so fucking Chad, man. Dude, they're coming in with masks, they're arresting him, he's so defiant, he's so fucking tough. He's saying fuck you to Romania, he's saying fuck you to the UK. The Matrix is trying to fucking get him, my man. He's a truth sayer. He's looking power in the eyes, and he's saying fuck off. He's the big G, dude. It's even just going to increase his influence massively, dude. That's the saddest part, because the type of people that subscribe and look at him as a subscribe to him and look at him as a father figure are so fucking far down the rabbit hole of being lost in time and space, swallowed up by the black hole of complete meaninglessness that is trying to be filled with Andrew Tateism, that it's there's little hope. But that doesn't mean that the rest of us can't watch it and get some content out of it and just laugh at their sorry excuses for an existence.
Charges against them. Andrew Tate is loved by his many fans for his pronouncements on how men should act. His detractors say his message represents a danger to women.
Female
are barely sentient.
In his own words, Andrew Tate describes himself as absolutely a misogynist.
It doesn't matter whether a woman wants to be a lawyer.
Let's get started on the clip that got Andrew Jebediah Tate arrested. Lads, not every day do you hear beautiful news on a Tuesday about an oil bruv like this, yeah. Turns out, Aiden Ross, in the most henchman way possible, shouts out to...
Who the fuck said that Twitch streamers do not have influence on the real life, baby? Hey, who the fuck said it, bro? Fucking Twitch streamers out here getting fucking even bigger Twitch streamers fucking arrested up in here, dude. Fucking news reporting about these dudes, man. Fucking content creators fucking owning this shit, dude. We on top, man. Obviously, the worst of us are on top, but we on top, baby. We on top. Fucking Tate bringing us into the limelight, baby. Fucking Tate right here, man.
Little overrule for that joke. Aiden Ross, one of the major tater tots, turned out and turned Andrew Tate in on a Tuesday nonetheless. Now, lads, here's the clip.
Andrew had hit me up. He said, hey, I'm going to be leaving Romania soon and probably never coming back. If you want to come over and do a week of long streams and content before I leave, I think it'll be big. And he said it's basically now or never. So
there's nothing funnier than, okay, I thought this was just Aiden Ross being stupid. Turns out it's Andrew Tate also being stupid. They're both stupid. I had not watched this clip until this very moment, but it is hilarious that Andrew Tate, who is under criminal investigation, is dumb enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave the country. Hello, I am going to illegally run away from...
But before I do this, would you come and let's do some content together? Let us scream together, kind sir. Just the classic alpha male behavior, sir. Oh, this fucking writes itself.
The country where I am being prosecuted. Hello, Aiden. Like, it turns out it's not... You're dumb for telling Aiden something like this because he's going to obviously reveal it. But you're also incredibly dumb for tweeting this texting this in general. Like, what are you... Guys, okay, listen to me, okay? Crime tip. If you're going to do a crime, don't text anyone about the crime that you're doing. Are you stupid?
Don't tell them in general, god fucking damn it, especially when you're being hunted for human fucking trafficking. But like, what was the implication? This is the last moment that you can come, so we do something together. Is the implication that he was planning on like completely disappearing? Or the implication is we won't be able to do content in Romania in particular? Did our boy plan on vanishing from the face of the earth? Because that would have been so fucking gold. To just see all the seething hordes of fucking Andrew Tate orcs losing their mind, even though in their fucking brain they would probably spin it just like what we mentioned previously and say, man, the Matrix got too close to him, that is why he escaped. Our martyr. He would become a literal martyr. Oh god, just as he did when he went to fucking prison. Right after flexing that, the Romanians can't fucking touch me because I'm rich. In Romania you can do whatever you want. And then they fucking touched you, baby. I hope they didn't touch you in other ways as well in that fucking prison shower.
That will be used against you in the investigation. Don't text the crime. Don't Google, like, how to do a murder, how to hide a body. Because if you do any...
He will be the first incel martyr. We're going to have... instead of AC and BC, we're going to have AT and BT. After Tate and before Tate. There will be... what's going to be the Andrew Tateism cross? What's going to be the symbol? A bald man with a cigar.
Any of those things, right? And don't even do it incognito. They can still take that from your ISP. What a lot of people don't comprehend, what a lot of people don't get is that like all of that stuff can be used against you in a court of law. So if you're going to do crime, which don't do it obviously, but if you're going to do the crime, don't Google it, dumbass. Don't Google it. Don't text it. You're stupid. You're a stupid person for texting and Googling. And
speaking of doing the crime or doing the time, what is crime on Twitch? Well, it is watching Twitch. But what is the punishment? The punishment is you have to watch ads. which is going to play in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. So if you would like to avoid that, if you would like to avoid basically Twitch jail, please do consider becoming a sub through Prime for free or for $5 a month. Support the channel, get a bunch of bonuses, and enjoy an adless experience. That was one of my best plugs of all time.
Especially stupid for telling someone like Aiden Ross. Hoist it on your own petard. Ladies and gentlemen, incredible stuff. Incredible. Couldn't have happened in a funnier way.
And this is just, I told you guys this year, it's a week of content, right?
And later we're gonna watch like Tucker Carlson, which I think is a very smart enemy, right? But these guys are incredible because they're fucking gorillas. They're fucking imbeciles, and these sorts of fucking imbeciles being able to amass such a massive fucking following, to me, is absolute fucking magic. And it's very concerning because, not because, this and that, hatred, blah, 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 obviously very important. But them, from the get-go, being able to amass such a fucking following shows us that we might be even bigger gorillas than them. Thank you, Echo Waves, the biggest fucking donor on this Twitch channel, for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you very much. Saved 5 people from the ads. Welcome to the community, all of you. Thank you, Echo Waves, as always.
And again, guys, it might be the last time we ever do this. So it's kind of like we got to take advantage of it now because
Aiden is an L-man.
But okay, ever do this. So my boy Tate was planning on doing a fucking Hollywood movie escape into the unknown voids of planet Earth. Dude, you're one of the most famous people on planet Earth. You literally cannot go anywhere. Oh my God, anonymous gifter gave 1 sub. What does that mean, chat? That means we must salute Xi Jinping. China Song Hassan. As you all know, whenever it's an anonymous gift, it means it's being given to us directly by China. So in that name, we must salute. Thank you, anonymous sub. Okay, let's go back to this.
And ain't no way. What is he doing? Like, what is he doing? Also, my take on, for the record, for the Romanian criminal justice system, guys, come on now. Finish the investigation. Wrap it up. The fuck are we doing? Like, as much as
yeah, I stand you fuckers so much, man. Like the first time you gopnik pro cop, man. You gopnik pro capital punishment, man. You gopnik pro prison system, man. You gopnik pro fucking shoving people in jail and never letting them out, man. For the first time, you gopnik pro Balkan corruption, man. The first time, you gopnik pro Romania. Oh my God, me pro Romania? Are you fucking kidding me? I stand you guys so fucking hard. The greatest Romanian achievement in the last 30 years was arresting this motherfucker and a bunch of your very successful protests. And yet, now you come out here and you piss in my mouth by what? Letting this motherfucker go? Though to an extent, if the plan is to send him to the UK where he could face even greater damage to both his career and his ability to be a free man, which he does not very much so deserve to be, then God bless. I don't know if they're playing 3D chess, 5D chess, or no chess at all, but all I'm saying is, Romania, do not fucking disappoint me, okay? All of the Balkans are put on a line right now. You guys literally elevated our criminal justice system in front of the whole world by being able to arrest this guy who escaped from the UK on human trafficking and rape charges. So do not disappoint, okay? Do not fucking disappoint. I will never forgive you this. I put my fucking word on the line, okay? Romania, stand unless you betray this trust.
I personally enjoy how funny it is that he's like constantly in legal struggles and whatnot, but like I would like to see some justice. And honestly, like it is getting to a point where it's like a little bit crazy how long it's taking. You know what I mean? It's a little bit crazy how long it's taking. Like, come on now. What are we doing here? Obviously, the situation is probably even way more dog shit for poor people that are in the throes of the criminal justice system, even in a place like the United States of America, which has significantly more resources. It still doesn't matter. There are plenty of people who are like locked in Rikers awaiting a court date and in torturous conditions. But like, come on. Anyway, That's so funny that this happened. Here is the post from McHugh, Jury, and Partners. Statement in response to Andrew Tate being detained in Romania and issued with a UK arrest warrant. McHugh, Jury, and Partners represents 4 British women who accuse Andrew Tate of rape and serious physical and sexual assaults. Our client's allegations were the subject of an investigation in the United Kingdom by the Hertfordshire Constabulary. This morning, it came to our attention that Tate has been detained in Romania after an arrest warrant and extradition request was issued by the authorities in the United Kingdom to Romania in respect of allegations of sexual offenses during the same period in which our clients allege Tate raped and assaulted them. Last week, we received the information that Tate might have been planning to flee Romania. We wrote to the British police to bring this to their attention and to urge them to immediately seek a warrant for Tate's detention in Romania and extradition to the UK. So as far as I understand it, what is going on is once the Romanian court case is over, he will be extradited into the UK. I don't know if he has like a free moment in between where his freedom of travel is like somewhat restricted, where he could just like legally escape to Dubai or some or a place where like there's no extradition policy to the UK. But beyond that, if he wants to operate in the Western world, I suspect that he will get clapped up. Israel arc, no shot. I mean, the Israel arc actually does track, but that's grifting in the other.
Man, fucking Israel would love that shit. They will fucking eat that shit up, especially if he says like pro-Israeli shit, man. Immediately, imagine a fucking Zionist Andrew Tate. God, you think something can't get worse? No, man, you can fucking paint it in shit and put an Israeli flag next to them, and it does get fucking worse. I mean, they've already started like nitpicking through any sort of celebrity that they can get, and half of the ones that they get to go out on camera and say, "Herder, we do stand with the Israelis," are fucking semi-cancelled, literal fucking sociopaths.
Direction. It tracks with his crimes, but it doesn't actually matter because like there's 2 ways out. Okay, listen. If you have been caught doing sex crimes, there's 2 ways out of it. All right, you either immediately go to Israel, no extradition policy, and many people do that. Okay. Many people do that. Or you go to either Russia or one of these other countries. And if you're like really right wing and you've talked about Israel, you got to go to Russia. If you're really right wing and love Israel, you go to Israel. That's how it works. Also, Aiden said in the clip he knew Tate was getting locked up. He didn't say that for a while. So while we cannot and do not comment on any knowledge of ongoing investigations, we are grateful that the British authorities have decided to take action and take heed of our concerns and the concerns of our clients. Tate is accused of serious criminal offenses against a large number of victims and must be held accountable for those actions. We will be releasing a fuller statement on behalf of our clients shortly. That's what he said. Okay, all seriousness, like all jokes aside, if we're gonna be serious about it, like I've said, I think, we need to figure out what's going on, conclude the Romanian court case, and then have the court case play itself out in the UK as well. Really funny though that like Andrew Tate is stupid enough to text that he's gonna like flee the country when there's a second court case happening potentially in the UK. So that's really dumb of him, and it's additionally dumb of him to say it to Aiden Ross, who is a dumb. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have been arrested again by Romanian authorities under a UK warrant. They were arrested over sexual misconduct in 2 separate cases from 2012 to 2015. Love is blinding, and he loves Aiden. I think he loves clout. It is wild to me how much this dude is like in and out of prison and jail and though. The Romanian courts have approved the request to extradite Andrew Tate. A Romanian court has approved a request for Britain to extradite internet personality Andrew Tate, but postponed doing so until Romanian trials proceedings finish. The court said on Tuesday that it also ruled that Tate and his brother, Tristan, should be released from police custody immediately. The Tates have been detained for 24 hours pending a ruling on the British arrest warrant. The Court of Appeal said in a statement that it rules to execute the arrest warrant and to postpone handing over.
Also, like, this is a very big topic in Romania, and to an extent, I can absolutely imagine that they just want to get rid of him as fast as they potentially can, because it's fucking tiring, and nobody really wants to fucking talk about this there anymore, and it's fucking... why are all eyes on Romania, especially the Romanian justice system? What are we gonna do? Do we not make a mistake? Blah 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 blah. So let's just fucking outsource this quickly so that the eyes go away and we don't get as much fucking PR, both from other justice like mass media saying you need to fucking do something about this guy, or his fucking massive following also saying you better not screw up because our God King cannot be hurt, for his dick must be ridden for many years to come.
For the requested person until
yeah, there's absolutely a point to be made that the Romanians might just be trying to right now get rid of him as fast as possible, because that's what I would do if I was a Romanian judge, let's be fucking honest.
Final verdict in the criminal case argued at the Bucharest court. Tate and his brother Tristan were detained on Monday night on allegations of sexual aggression dating back to 2012 and 2015, which they categorically denies. PR team said the warrant was issued by...
I hope that doesn't go that way, because it would be a great moment for Balkan history, where we quite literally rid the world of another snake, something we can be very proud of. In the great Romanian history of impalement of imperial invaders, Romania could very much so add another impalement, and that is of Tate and all his dick riders.
By Westminster Magistrates Courts in London. We are innocent men. We are very innocent men. In time, everyone is going to see that, and we are very excited to finish this judicial process and clear our names, Tate said as he was released from police custody. It's very funny because I've been asking Romanian courts to go to the UK myself. I've asked 5 times and been declined. So now I get to go home. That's fantastic news. This guy literally said he went to Romania so he wouldn't get Me Too'd in Romania like he would get Me Too'd in England. And now he's like, oh, I really want to go back to England, where he has a literal sexual assault trial waiting for him. What?
Which tells us what? That there are higher chances that he might be actually prosecuted fully and legitimately in Romania. He understands this, so he wants to go over to the UK, where the chances of full litigation are lower. Again, Romania W, Romania W, Romania W. Here we stand, Romanian police. But no, jokes aside, he might have had certain conversations with certain Romanian people of influence who have told him, hey, your case is looking like absolute shit here. So try and restart the whole court process somewhere else. So if you get sent over to the UK, it's going to kind of, to an extent, restart, and you might have better chances for defense versus your current court state in Romania in particular. So that might also be an additional thing.
What the f is going on? That's not even like, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That's
ACAB antics. ACAB except Romanian cops. Yeah.
Straight up, like, actually.
People's police, bro.
What is going on here? He said that. He literally said that. One last time, Law, but 2 was actually released and made a statement in front of the media as right now. Yeah. England has gotten more reactionary since he left. He might stand a chance now. No. The UK's Garbaggio with convincing sexual assault though, right? Yes. I think the UK is really bad at this kind of stuff. However, this is so high profile, and I do think like politics will play a role because it's so high profile. I think politics will play a role, and
that's why probably Romanians kind of to an extent might agree with this, just so that they can get rid of the high profile conversation in general.
It will cause the UK courts to potentially do like a decent job at this prosecution. Prince Andrew was high profile. Yes, but Prince Andrew is a prince. Andrew Tate is the prince of incels. Are you comparing a small time like alleged sex trafficker that had to do his operations in Romania to the guy that sex traffickers like Jeffrey Epstein bow down to? Andrew Tate is not even a fraction of Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew Tate is like literally
Jesus, not even comparable. What the fuck?
The level 1 mafia version of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was serving the interests of Andrew Tate. So not Andrew Tate, sorry, Prince Andrew. They're both Andrew. That's it. That's as close as you're gonna get. Like
you will get a cute pet mascot for you on stream. I mean, I don't have a pet mascot, but I have
one is quite literally and definitionally a small bean trafficker. Yes. The problem for Andrew Tate is that he is not like this is high profile almost entirely because he gloats too much. He gloats too much and he's pissed off the wrong moms and dads. Okay, that's it. Like he would have 100% been able to get away with everything that he's doing if he wasn't so vocal about flexing non-stop about utilizing the lover boy method and implementing coercive measures on the people that he had hired to do.
Not even that, like, obviously that shit is super fucked up, but also just flexing on Romania in general. Like, you don't think that Romanian cops and Romanian judges, so on, and the Romanian populace hasn't been shown his opinion on being untouchable in Romania. And you'd think that that didn't influence the fact that he was arrested, and not only arrested, the way that his actual court is, court experience is going. Of course not, of course not. Literally, motherfucker keeps shooting himself in the foot constantly, but because of his massive presence and because, let's face it, any court system on planet Earth does a fucking dog shit job when it comes to prosecuting men that have participated in sexual violence, you get fucking situations like this.
Webcam work and stuff like that. So that is like the major reason. And also on top of that, he got like too famous for his own good, being the incel warlord basically. So he pissed off too many Tory moms. That's what it is. He pissed off conservative moms. When conservative moms, like white conservative moms, were like, I don't know what's going on, my son is calling our daughter a bitch. That's it. It's Jover at that point. Too many moms in positions of power, white moms who are powerful, conservative, elite. Do
not fuck with below 15 girl, because they will ruin your career. But more importantly, the conservative mom class is untouchable. It is the behemoth of all culture, okay? It is the most important aspect of every voting body.
Too many of them were like, no. We need to put an end to this. That's what got him cooked. Okay, like a little bit of conservatism is fine. He hammed it on way too much. All these like 12-year-olds are running around being like, get your money up. Fuck you. I will piss my pants. It's actually alpha dog to your diapers. It's like, the what? What do you mean? What is going on? You're a baby. Stop. Be a baby. Why do you have this weird accent like you grew up in either Luton or Gary, Indiana? What's going on? It's like a mixture of both. Hello? I will piss my pants. Anyway, British police told Reuters the Tates were a part of an ongoing investigation into allegations of rape and human trafficking, adding they were working with Romanian authorities. We appreciate the Bucharest Court of Appeal's decision to postpone the extradition of Andrew and Tristan Tate. Eugene Vidniak, legal counsel for the defendants, said in a statement, this ruling provides an opportunity for the brothers to participate fully in their defense and for the legal process to proceed in a transparent manner. Tate, who gained millions of fans by promoting an ultra-masculine lifestyle, was indicted in June in Romania along with his brother and two Romanian women for human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. They have denied the charges. The case has since been with the Bucharest court's preliminary chamber, which needs to decide.
But just the whole situation of him telling another fucking content creator and saying, yo bro, let's come and make some more content because I'm gonna run away afterwards, and that getting him arrested is like the most online fucking thing I've ever heard. And this incredibly online thing being plastered all over absolutely every single news avenue is just fucking art, dude. The era we live in, nothing matters, dude. Nothing matters.
Whether the trial can start, a decision is yet to be made with Romanian courts backlog. The Tate brothers were held in police custody pending the criminal investigation from late December 2022 until April to prevent them from fleeing the country or tampering with evidence. They were placed under house arrest until August. They have since been under judicial control, a lighter preventative measure, meaning they have regular check-ins with the police, but can move around freely except for leaving the country. That's it. Yeah, except for when you reveal your plans to the dumbest person you possibly could, who then talks about it on stream, and then the law enforcement hears about it. Spokesperson for the Tates tells Rolling Stone, we unequivocally deny any accusation.
So guys, I actually be stream of Andrew Tate because he's leaving.
Oh, shut the fuck up, man. I want to watch the clip, goddammit.
That Andrew and Tristan Tate intend to abscond from Romania to evade the judicial proceedings, saying Ross misconstrued Andrew's message to him. God, that's so funny. A rep for Ross did not immediately return a request for comment. A highly controversial 23-year-old streamer from Florida, Ross was permanently banned from Twitch in February 2023 for promoting hateful conduct after posting uncensored racist and anti-Semitic comments from his fans. He has been a longtime defender of the brothers, proclaiming their innocence on social media following their 2022 Romania arrest and detainment on separate charges of rape, trafficking, and forming an organized group to exploit women. Prior to their Tuesday arrest, they were awaiting a trial in Romania and had been ordered by judges not to flee the country and its surrounding area. Here's Andrew Tate speaking after his release from jail earlier today.
Unfortunately, I don't think many people in Romania understand, but in the West, in the countries that are owned by the Satanists, you move to a certain level of fame, you either put on a dress or you go to jail, and I'm happy to make my choice, which is jail every single time. My soul is not for sale, neither are my principles. We are innocent men.
Also, the Aiden Ross timeline is legendary. Like, this guy is like the king of just continuously being in the limelight for the wildest fucking reasons. He got scammed on stream in a fucking gambling game. He got ripped off by a person he was supposed to feature. Now he fucked over his friend by indirectly snitching on him. My boy is just the king of L's, and that's his persona, and he makes millions off of that shit. It's the most interesting, like, niche and yet such successful grind that I've ever fucking seen in my life. Aiden Ross to me is like a fucking specter. Is like insanely incredible that this persona exists and that this persona is in everybody's fucking heads and we're constantly talking about him. And he probably can't count 5 plus 5. My boy probably can't tie his fucking shoes, man. Or maybe it's like he's playing 5D chess and we're missing the whole thing, dude.
Very innocent men, and in time everybody's going to see that, and we're very excited to finish this judicial process and clear our names.
You are free for now, but still the Romanian court approved extradition.
Pandas, watching Aiden Ross stream is like going to the zoo. Like, what is his fucking stream even like? You guys want to watch a stream of his? Let's watch a stream, because I've never watched it, man.
After the trial is over here.
It's very funny because I've been asking Romanian courts to go to the UK myself. I've asked 5 times and been declined. So now I get to go home. It's fantastic. Let's go.
Oh, him spinning it as a fucking win. Now I get to go home. Yeah, that's my analysis. He got fucking cucked in Romanian jail. They told him, yo, you're getting arrested here. So he started spinning the other spiel, which is, I want to go to the UK, want to get extradited, and that's what's most likely going to happen now. Though his previous plan before being fucked over by his friend might have been to run. But I don't think so, because you can't really run when you're this famous. He's banned on Twitch. Oh, my boy is banned on Twitch. Oh shit, it would get you banned on Twitch. Oh fuck. Okay. Oh, but come on, even if we made fun of it, Wow, this is a thing. This is an absolute thing. Who won the Oscars? Let's see. I have no idea.
And Maria, I see Oppenheimer.
At the 96th Academy Awards, it was an explosive night for Oppenheimer.
It was an explosive night, not just for Oppenheimer, but to me, this was absolutely beautiful. Just the contrast. These perfectly dressed millionaires going to celebrate their thing, these same perfectly dressed millionaires that were calling for us to support them, which we did, and I absolutely did when they were doing their protests for the, cinema union or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now, completely being silent on the most disgusting shit on the planet is legendary, but it's additionally legendary depicted in this lovely allegory, which is not even an allegory. It's right there in your fucking face, and it is them going to the Oscars while people that actually care about things that truly, truly matter, not saying that art doesn't matter, quite to the opposite, screaming into their faces and them still continuing and ignoring on their way to get the little gold statues to tap themselves on the back and to feel good about themselves. So a lot of the people couldn't even get into the Oscars directly, the ones that were going there. So they had to literally pass through the protest because the car couldn't leave them exactly out front. And that was just incredible to see. But obviously, immediately, no fucking cuts.
Free Palestine!
How many bombs have you dropped today? How many bombs have you dropped today? How many kids have you starved today? How many kids have you starved today?
While some people are celebrating and pretending like nothing is happening, the Oscars are happening.
By the way, please, mods, update the name. Maybe not now because Oscars or something, but yeah.
Down the road, while people are being murdered, killed, bombed, with U.S. funds by settler Zionist Israel, and we're here today so people in the future can say, oh, we did not know. Oh, we're going to build you a memorial. Oh, poor you guys. No, we want liberation. We want it now.
Beautiful.
Your silence mystified. Your silence mystified. Oscar, you can hide. Oscar, on stolen land. No peace on stolen land. No peace on stolen land.
Much of what goes on in Hollywood is in support of the Israeli.
Oh God, what is this? God fucking damn it, what is this? Fucking hell, what is this? Oh God, what is this? What if Michael Rappaport, literally the dumbest fucking cretin on planet Earth, hosted the Oscars made by what seems to be... What is this? What is this?
The children of Gaza are suffering. They have...
So it's the guys that made this. So Zionist dogs, okay. Shit. Okay, fuck. Are we sure we want to... Yes, we want to watch this.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host for this evening, Michael Rappaport.
Yes. Welcome to the 96th Academy Awards.
This is so fucking pathetic. And contrasting this to what the pro-Palestine protesters did by literally just protesting outside in order to bring more attention while utilizing the massive attention that is being given to the Oscars, which is very smart. That's fucking praxis right there. These guys are like, what if one of our guys hosted it? Because that's what we're gonna do for some reason, because we're unhinged fucking Zionists. Oh God.
Good evening to the millions of viewers at home and the 134 Israeli hostages who are watching us from the Hamas tunnels in Gaza. You guys have a lot in common with the beautiful audience we have here tonight. Neither of you have eaten in almost 4 months. Next year, I'm sure the hostage diet will be bigger than Ozempic. I can't believe it's already been 4 months. 4 months, which is actually the length of the first cut of Killers of the Flower Moon. I love you, Marty. You're the best. I love you. Anyway, I know you beautiful.
Him imagining that he's a famous man. Imagining that I am famous man. Talking, yes, I'm very famous man.
People are thinking about the hostages in Gaza all the time.
Yeah, motherfuckers really edited themselves into hosting the Oscars, yeah.
You just won't speak up about them. If Hamas would have attacked Israel and kidnapped all the dolphins, you'd be wearing dolphin helmets and throwing tuna fish at the podium. And God forbid Hamas...
Oh yeah, that's the big problem. The big problem is that they're not... The world's elites are not vocal enough in supporting Israel. That is the problem. They need to be more vocal in supporting the genocide of children and women. Yes.
Would have raped the gender pay gap. Oh man, Julia Roberts would have ran into Gaza herself with an AK-47. Julia. But I'm sure the hostages understand your silence and they forgive.
Oh yeah, the silence for the hostages. Yes, that really exists. That truly exists. The thousands of actors signing all the fucking release the hostages shit. That absolutely the truth.
They know that speaking up for them could result in you losing some key fans in the...
Dude, the fucking wild spin of so many people losing fucking jobs because they are against the genocide in Gaza, and the spin that somehow being pro-Israel is incredibly controversial and could cost you your spot in your career is so fucking disgusting. It is so fucking fucked up, man.
demographic of 18 to 25-year-olds. Oh, yeah, I know. You don't want to mess around with those notorious, scary Gen Zers, huh?
Oh yeah, those the 18 to 25-year-olds, which de facto are stupid because they are supporting Gaza, not that they haven't grown up in copious amounts of Zionist propaganda throughout their whole life, and that's why they have a bit of a more objective perspective on what is happening. And
far more dangerous than Hamas. They can kill you on TikTok, then kill themselves because they don't get enough likes. I know, it's frightening. No one wants to be canceled on TikTok. It's a scary, scary place. But it has been a really, really exciting year for Hollywood. So we decided to add some very exciting categories to tonight's ceremony. Who will win Best Actor who's made millions on playing a stereotypical neurotic Jew with back hair yet still won't show some solidarity award? Yes. And when you finally...
Okay, look at all the faces that the Zionists are pointing out as bad guys. Look at all the faces. Those are probably the good guys. Okay? Okay? So everybody they're calling out, good guys.
Say something political, it's about the legalization of pot. What the fuck, man? You gotta be on crack. Pick a drug, Seth Rogen. Ooh, did I say Seth Rogen? I'm sorry, I'm kidding, Seth. You're awesome and your ceramics are fantastic. Museum quality. Get ready, MoMA. And who will win the coveted Best Unsupportive Actress wearing a black dress to protest sexual misconduct, but is too scared to wear a yellow ribbon tonight award? That's right, sexual misconduct. You know what I'm talking about, right? What the hell do you think is happening to the female hostages now? Hamas makes Harvey Weinstein look like Peter Pan. It's a problem, guys.
I'll let them speak for themselves.
And of course, who will go home tonight with the Best Actor who plays a dead Jew to get an Oscar, but will say nothing about actual Jewish babies that are still alive in captivity award? Yeah, by the way, the loser has to give back his fake nose. You guys don't deserve our schnoz.
Dude, they can't even get 4. They can't even get 4 because it is like Hollywood support for Israel is so fucking unilateral that they can't find actors to point out for not supporting the genocide. It's thank you, what's his name? Michael Rappaport for this.
Yeah, it's a problem. Hey, get off of me. Come on, what is the problem?
We apologize for this interruption. Will Smith, if you're here, would you please get on...
Oh, we made a sketch. We made a sketch of something that is not happening, and then we canceled the sketch of the thing that is not happening because that's what we think would happen in the thing that's not happening. Jebote, koji kurac. Ja bi sve ovo kume da mi ovo koljemo, a?
Tate, and give us a hand.
Yes.
הטלוויזיה של ישראל.
Televizija za Israel. It's Israeli TV. Okay, this is Israeli TV. These are the guys that made this.
The children of Gaza are suffering. They have no food or medical supply. But you can help. Please open your heart and make a donation by clicking in the link below. Shukran.
These are the pieces of shit that fucking made the same sketch. You probably have seen the sketch. But you know what? You know what, you stupid fucking degenerate dog? You know what? You know what? Look at what we did. Specifically Bed and Panada. I'm proud of having helped. This. Wait, where is it? He removed it. This.
We should do more drama because that's what you guys like the most. There's some guy.
$65,000 for Gaza, baby. The other day, $65,000 for Gaza. I know it's not much, etc., but at least it's fucking something. So to that sketch, I say yes, we absolutely will fucking give money to Gaza. Go fuck yourself, you stupid fucking degenerate. There we go. Yeah, very happy, very happy. Anyways. Yeah, the protests over on during Oscars were kind of smart because obviously a lot of people noticed them, a lot of people started talking about it. A lot of the, even now, some, actors and people are starting to change their mind. They're wearing the little stickers, etc., etc. Most of them because now it's become more cool than the other thing, which in the long run is kind of positive because, the rhetoric is shifting. But at the end of the day, it's still what it is, and it's just virtue signaling and not really much else, including, the money that's going, it is money, hopefully help somebody, but it's not exactly going to stop what is happening on the fucking ground. Speaking of which, there's a GDF video on this topic, which I will leave you with. I gotta go to the toilet. And
there are very few lobbies working the corridors of Capitol Hill with as much clout as AIPAC.
I'm also snoozing the ad. You're welcome.
The American-Israel Public Affairs Committee. They're the people who tell the Congress which legislation affecting Israel they like and which they don't. Inside this building are the headquarters of AIPAC, the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee. They would not let us photograph inside their headquarters. AIPAC says it is the spearhead for support for Israel here in Washington. It is not a political action committee. It does not make campaign contributions. But the clout of AIPAC here on Capitol Hill is legendary.
Hey everyone, I am woefully overdue for this video. It's the Israel Lobby video. In as little time as I can manage, I'm going to explain what is essentially the thesis of one of the most important books on Israel, The Israel Lobby and U.S. Foreign Policy by John Mersheimer and Stephen Walt. Again, this is long overdue, but I'm going to do right by you all and try to explain everything succinctly. Israel can do whatever it wants. We know this. We all know it. They can deliberately induce a famine and saturate Gaza with so many bombs it is one of the most bombed areas in the history of the world. Clearly, there's nothing they can't get away with. Of course, Israel enjoys a steady stream of military aid to the tune of some $4 billion a year, though it's more than that ultimately in a number of ways. But perhaps more important than this military aid is their diplomatic support from the United States. They can always rely on it without exception. When the Security Council votes to condemn or call for ceasefire or vote to grant the Palestinians a state, every single time, the United States votes in Israel's favor, or vetoes in Israel's favor. It is for this reason that Israel enjoys complete and total immunity from consequence for its many grave crimes against humanity. And now the same is true even as Israel is committing a genocide, something easily provable pursuant to international humanitarian law. I've made several videos on the topic. But today I'd like to explain why does the U.S. do this? It's almost completely alone in the world in this regard. There are 4 important myths which Israel's supporters will give to justify this extraordinary aid and diplomatic cover. Let's start with the first one. Myth number 1, Israel is a strategic asset. The Cold War-era argument goes that Israel was an asset to check Soviet power in the Middle East. That's not what former National Security Advisor and Secretary of State Henry Kissinger believed. Our impression is that Israel must be strong. But Israeli strength does not prevent the spread of communism in the Arab world. Israeli strength provides for Israeli security. The best defense against the spread of communism in the Arab world is to strengthen the moderate Arab
React ends.
governments. So it is difficult to claim that a strong Israel serves America.
So what anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli rhetoric have you heard for now from GDF, huh?
Interests. Because it prevents the spread of communism in the Arab world, it does not. It provides for the survival of Israel. In 1982, still well before the Soviet Union's demise, Israel's invasion of Lebanon created Hezbollah, who killed hundreds of U.S. Marines in a suicide bombing at the barracks of the 1st Battalion 8th Marines. Another bombing of the U.S. Embassy there was the single deadliest day in the CIA's history. The occupation of the Palestinian territories has further resulted in 2 uprisings that have killed thousands of people. The occupation itself is especially troubling, considering the territories were first acquired through a preemptive attack by Israel against Egypt, which brought Jordan and Syria to war, leading to another war over the captured territories, which almost led to nuclear war. Hardly a stabilizing force in the region. As Mersheimer Walt put it, even if Israel
is the most destabilizing state in the region by far. If you compare the actions of any state that has ever existed in that territory in the last 300 years with the last 70 years of Israel's pathetic existence.
Was a valuable ally during the Cold War, that justification ended when the Soviet Union collapsed. Myth number 2, we need Israel to fight terrorism. It shouldn't come as a big surprise that groups like Al-Qaeda attacked the United States largely because of their support for Israel. Years before 9/11, when a bomb-laden van exploded under the North Tower
they bombed it because they hated your freedom. So a lot of people did.
Of the World
Trade believe that to this day.
Center in 1993, a young Ramzi Youssef sent letters to New York newspapers claiming responsibility. As told by Stephen Cole, author of the Pulitzer-winning Ghost Wars: The Secret History of the CIA, Youssef issued 3 political demands: an end to all U.S. aid to Israel, an end to diplomatic relations with Israel, and a pledge to end interference with any of the Middle East countries' interior affairs. The terrorism that Israel practices, which is supported by America, must be faced with a similar one. The author notes that it made no references to Islam at all. Indeed, Youssef seemed to define America as an enemy solely because of its support for Israel. Or take Abdul Rahman Yassin, one of Youssef's co-conspirators, who said in an interview with Leslie Stahl,
"We have to send a message that this is not right. This is to revenge for my Palestinian brothers and my brothers in Saudi Arabia."
The architect of the later 9/11 attacks themselves, none other than Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, was also motivated by U.S. support for Israel, according to the official 9/11 Commission report. By his own account, KSM's animus toward the United States stemmed not from his experiences there as a student, but rather from his violent disagreement with U.S. foreign policy favoring Israel. There's also the man himself, Osama bin Laden. In Lawrence Wright's Pulitzer-winning The Looming Tower, the author describes a 14-year-old Osama. Sometimes he would sit in front of the television and weep over the news from Palestine. In his teenage years, he was the same nice kid, his mother later related, but he was more concerned, sad, and frustrated about the situation.
One would think, hey, creating a colonial project on a particular inhabited part of the world is going to lead to consequences. And oh my God, then some consequences came and knocked on the door, and we were all so incredibly surprised. And even more amazing is that we also managed to tell our entire population that the reason these people are doing it is because they're absolutely unhinged and fucking insane in the head, and they hate the fact that we have burgers and we vote between Donkey Man and Elephant Man, and that is why they blew up fucking towers and park cars filled with explosions. Their motivation could in no way be influenced by something that we did to them, God forbid. Oh, of course not.
In Palestine in particular, and the Arab and Muslim world in general. He was vocal about it in the years prior to 9/11, declaring in his 1996 fatwa, "It is no secret to you, my brothers, that the people of Islam have been afflicted with oppression, hostility, and injustice by the Judeo-Christian alliance. Your blood has been spilt in Palestine and Iraq."
Mr. bin Laden, you have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us why?
The U.S. government has committed acts that are extremely unjust, hideous, and criminal through its support of the Israeli occupation of Palestine. And we believe the U.S. is directly responsible for those killed in Palestine, Lebanon.
Since we're going to stand some terrorists, we got to have the fucking aesthetics as well.
and Iraq.
Americans are asking, why do they hate us? They hate what they see right here in this chamber.
Let's go, Chad. I just got a new job. Congratulations, motherfucker. Yeah.
Democratically elected government. Their leaders are self-appointed. They hate our freedoms.
Myth number 3. Israel is...
That's when it started, remember?
is the only democracy in the Middle East.
Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, the only place where all 3 monotheistic religions are allowed to peacefully practice. I believe that America...
Peacefully practice, but not really coexist because it's an apartheid regime, baby.
...has a moral obligation to continue to support Israel.
Israel is neither a democracy, nor is it especially moral compared to other states. That's putting it lightly, but bear with me.
I can't help myself. I'm going full Slav mode. I need to eat some fucking sandwich, okay? It's good shit. It's good shit.
First of all, in February of 2023, the civilian authority, or the body that governs the West Bank, was transferred to Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich.
I made some abomination, my personal recipe potato salad because of you. My boyfriend inhaled it in less than 2 days. Fuck yeah. Mayonnaise. It is all about the mayonnaise in the potato salad. All about the mayonnaise.
In other words, the West Bank was effectively annexed in 2023. What has been ruled by a military commander for more than half a century was transferred over to civilian control, being administered by the federal government of Israel. Smotrich was given expansive powers over land surveying, registration, settlement construction, outpost demolition, infrastructure projects, including water, electricity, transportation, and other matters. Despite this extraordinary power over the lives of some 3 million Palestinians, not a single one of them are able to vote in Israeli elections, despite being at the mercy of its whims. This is not a democracy, simply put. The perilous situation in Gaza is anything but the manifestation of a morally righteous democratic country either. I've also covered the topic of Israeli apartheid in the occupied territories and Israel proper as well in this video here. Besides, say Mersheimer and Walt, whether a country is democratic is not a reliable indicator of how Washington will relate to it. The United States has overthrown a few democratic governments in the past and has supported numerous dictators when doing so was thought to advance U.S. interests. The Eisenhower administration overthrew a democratically elected government in Iran in 1953, while the Reagan administration supported Saddam Hussein in the 1980s. The fact that
No mayonnaise in potato salad? That is almost a bannable offense, okay?
bills and political parties in Israel are disqualified if they negate the existence of the State of Israel as the state of the Jewish people, or the democratic character of the state, is also cause for some alarm, and contrary to basic democratic principles. In October of 2000, after Israeli police opened fire on Israeli Arab protesters, killing 13, the Israeli government set up the Or Commission to investigate what had happened.
The second Amnesty International, which is, the fucking brainchild and love child of every liberal on planet Earth, the most, we follow whatever the U.S. State Department directs us at when it comes to pointing the problematics of how their society functions. When they called it an apartheid state, it's an apartheid fucking state. GDF, you don't have to go into all of these fucking details and so on. Just put a fucking little fucking screenshot of fucking Amnesty International and that's it. That's the whole fucking shtick. That's it. You're done. You're good. You're good.
Concluded, which caused controversy in Israel, that government handling of the Arab sector has been primarily neglectful and discriminatory.
Arab sector. Countries having sectors for ethnicities. That sounds fucking freedom-loving to me.
Indeed, it's been officially observed by the Israeli government that Palestinian citizens of Israel, who are considered to be an example of why Israel doesn't practice apartheid, are far from equal to their Israeli counterparts. Indeed, this is observed by the majority of the Israeli population. What's worse, not only do they see it, most Israeli Jews support it. A 2016 Pew survey of Israeli Jews found that 79% believe they deserve preferential treatment. In the very same survey, 48%...
Of course, everything is a consequence of its own system. Please do not be anti-Semitic and call all Jews this. I'm not saying GDF is doing this, just telling chat immediately. When you live in apartheid, you normalize apartheid, just like we have normalized capitalism. You normalize the idea that you are superior to those who you see your state constantly treating like subhumans, and eventually that integrates in your mentality. This has nothing to do with being Jewish. This is just everything to do with majority-minority relations in a particular state, and in this case, relations which are based on pure and utter oppression and, more importantly, colonialization.
Percent of Jewish Israelis agreed with the statement, Arabs should be expelled or transferred from Israel. There's also the strive for a Jewish demographic majority, to which Israeli officials have employed language that is little different from words uttered by white nationalists in the United States.
Imagine if their big win is that they use the term Jewish, etc., etc. Any other ethnicity, everybody would lose their fucking mind. No, you don't get to do this because you're Jewish. Go fuck yourself. You don't get to do this if you're a fucking purple alien fucking shtick. Apartheid is apartheid. It doesn't fucking matter who's doing it.
In a 2003 speech, then Finance Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the Herzliya conference, if there is a demographic problem, and there is, it is with the Israeli Arabs who will remain Israeli citizens. In 2007, Bibi apologized to the Haredi community for child welfare cuts as finance minister, though he sought to put a positive spin on them as well. The unexpected result was the demographic effect on the non-Jewish public, where there was a dramatic drop in the birth rate. Mersheimer Walt posit, imagine the outcry that would arise here if a U.S. cabinet official spoke of the benefits of a policy that had reduced the birth rates of African Americans and Hispanics, thereby preserving a white majority. But such statements are not unusual in Israel. Myth number 4. Israel is surrounded by countries that want to destroy it.
Let's do this. Okay. Thank you, Komina. Let's see. Okay. Zionist or Nazi? Who said this? Let's play a game, chat. Okay? Shall we? Zionist or Nazi? Who said this? Disclaimer. This quiz is part of research and perception of hate speech and is not meant to hurt anyone's sentiments. Do not seek to target ethnicities or religions. Political ideologies, however, should be scrutinized and challenged. Zionism does not represent all Jews, just like Nazism does not represent all Germans. The second one, I'm kidding, of course not. Okay. Following are a few statements, some made by prominent Nazi Germans about the Jews, others made by prominent Israeli and pro-Israeli Zionists about the Palestinians. Can you guess which is which? The quote in question could be about either Jews or Palestinians. The name of the group will be replaced with group. There will be other similar context-dependent replacements. Okay, let's see. Fuck, I need to get high before we fucking read this. Okay. The group have no right to claim equality with us. If they wish, I'm kind of an expert on Nazis, so let's see if I can guess. Because I literally am an expert on fucking, like I studied this in uni and there's no other fucking online leftist that knows more about Nazis. I'm sorry to tap myself on the shoulder, but it is the truth. So, the group have no right to claim equality with us. If they wish to speak on the streets and lines outside of shops or in public transportation, they should be ignored, not only because they are simply wrong, but because they are group with no right to a voice in the community. Who said the above? I would think, right, Nazi, right? But pretty big chance it's a Zion. Okay, all the group will be able to do about it will be to scurry around like drugged cockroaches in a bottle. Sounds like a Nazi, right? Jesus Christ. Group aren't educated towards peace, nor do they want it. To me, they are like animals. They aren't human. Man, so hard. So hard. Okay, let's say a Nazi. Because, I don't know, a group of school children were found singing this poem. No, chat, I'm pretending I do not know Zionism bad. A group of school children were found singing this poem. All the world hates the group, and the main thing is to kill them one by one. With these feet, I stepped on my enemy. With these feet, I bit his skin. With these lips, I sucked his blood, and I still haven't had enough revenge. Which political ideology was the school affiliated with? This one, even in joking, I know 1 billion% is Zionist, so I can't click on Nazis the way I clicked ironically above, because this is such a fucking Zionist song. I'm sorry. Nazis said different ones. A Nazi will never suck Jewish blood. They will get no food, no water, no fuel. Everything will be closed. We are fighting against human animals and will act accordingly. Imagine, but they will get no food, no water, no fuel. Everything will be closed. We are fighting against the human animal and we will act accordingly. Ja, mein Führer. Sounds pretty believable, right? This one, even ironically, I can click Nazi because we know it's a Zionist. What's so horrifying about understanding that the entire group is the enemy? Jeez. It doesn't matter which one I click. It doesn't matter which one I click. Let's say a Nazi. Hope in the end we will see the answer. The group always lives from the blood of other peoples. He needs such murderers. They need, I guess, the Arab or the Jew. The victory will be only entirely and finally achieved when the whole world is free of group. Whole world is free. More Nazi, yeah. The colonialist Zionists just want to clear their land for now. This is a war between two people. Who is the enemy? The Nazis had a war with much more people, so probably Zionist. Even 1 million are not worth a fingernail of... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. A fingernail. A fucking fingernail. But it's not a Nazi because they weren't so expressive. They weren't this expressive. Like, they didn't go into like, this is not worth a fingernail. This is like, modern immigrant Israeli Zionists, I'm pretty sure. Finish them off and don't leave anyone behind. Erase the memory of them. Erase them, their families, mothers, and children. These animals can no longer live. If you have a neighbor, don't wait. Go to his home and shoot him. The Nazis planned their shit much more directly. They didn't call on them going and shooting them, etc., etc. I guess. So Zionist. There is only one solution. This is very fucked up. Not like the previous ones were. There's only one solution, which is to destroy the Arab or the Jew completely. I really wouldn't be able to pick. I mean, this quiz really is good. It shows you how similar and batshit insane both of them are. And one would say it's in bad taste to compare Israel to Nazism. I might even to an extent agree. But to compare them to fascists, to compare them to a country which, if it had enough resources, it would do pretty much almost everything that the Nazis did, is not in bad taste. There is only one solution, is to destroy the group completely. Let's say Nazi. Let's pretend to be stupid. There's no both. There's no both option. With compulsory transfer of groups, we would have a vast area. I support compulsory transfer. I don't see anything immoral in it. I think this is a direct Hitler quote. I recognize it. The group are responsible for the war. The treatment received from us is hardly unjust. They have deserved it all. Nazis did not need to justify the war. The war was to reclaim the Reich to its former power and get rid of the embarrassment of World War I. So a Zionist, because they need actual excuses, because they're still pretending they're not fucking fascists. Okay, bring down buildings, bomb without distinction. Stop with this impotence. You have ability. There is worldwide legitimacy. Flatten a place where group lives without mercy. Under current context, pretty easy. Also, the Nazis wouldn't say this because they were constantly bombing, so what the fuck? And also, the Nazis did not have something that the Israelis absolutely do have, and that is worldwide legitimacy. I mean, yeah, 80% of all world governments call for a ceasefire, but are they doing anything about it except just voting? No. Country is ours. We will protect country against you animals, against you traitors, against you barbarians. You'll never live again. Barbarians, animals, more Zionistic. The Nazi was more like, more direct. I will return to city when the last group member is terminated. I don't care if they are children, elderly people on crutches. Unironically, a Nazi will not say this. They lied to them. Like, to an extent, they lied to themselves, so one needed to resign. So, a Zionist, which is much more honest. Who are the poor women of group? They're all mothers, sisters, wives of terrorists, probably. Nazis didn't have a context in which to use this sentence in. Zionist. This is legendary. I mean, legendarily bad. We shall try to spirit the group across the border by procuring employment for it in the transit countries while denying it any employment in our own country. Expropriation and the removal of the group must be carried out discreetly and circumspectly. You see, more side words. The Zionist feels like the whole world is on his side, so he calls them all these words. This is when you plan on doing something behind the curtains, which the Zionists do not feel like they need to do. So that's why I'm Nazi. The group is a devil in human form. He should be exterminated, root and branch. Root and branch. Root and branch. The German uses different words. But devil in human form was very much the stereotype for the Jew. The root and branch doesn't really sound Germanic, but okay. Let's say a Nazi. Because I doubt like the Zionists called the Arabs a devil in human form. Ha! Got you. Yeah, that would be funny if that wasn't true. That would be nice if that wasn't true. I do not admit that a wrong has been to those people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, or at any moment a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come in and taken their place. Jesus. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, that's more like race talk, Nazi. Okay, let's see. Boom, we got the first one. All the Palestinians will be able to do about it will be to scurry around like drugged cockroaches in a bottle. A Zionist said that. Rafael Eitan, Israeli Army Chief of Staff, about Palestinians. The group aren't educated towards peace, nor do they want it against Zionists. They are animals, they aren't human. Here we got Zionists about the song. Classic song. Very, yeah. They will get food, no water. Yes, this we will know. We are fighting human animals. Classic. This one really was worrying and understanding that not surprised. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm surprised, but okay, yeah, the blood of other people, you know, etc., etc. Nazis. Jesus, this one too. I'm sad that I was wrong. That was right. Even 1 million members of the group are not worth a fingernail. Don't leave anybody behind. Erase the memory of them. These animals can no longer live. Ezra Yachin, who was brought in official IDF vehicles to give a pep talk to Israeli soldiers before Israel's 2023 ground invasion of Gaza. 95-year-old Ezra Yachin is also a veteran of the Deir Yassin massacre, one of the most horrific crimes during the Nakba. I mean, he came to give instructions on how to repeat it. And they're not only repeating it, they're improving, if we can use that word, on what was done previously. There is only one solution, which is to destroy the group entirely. Even this one. Destroy the group entirely. What are you going to do? Destroy all Arabs as a race? As a social construct? As a concept? As a culture? Fucking wild. With compulsory transfer of group, we would have a vast area. No, fuck you. This is a Lebensraum rhetoric. I was sure this is Nazi. That's Lebensraum rhetoric, блядь. It's literal Lebensraum rhetoric. We need to remove all those dogs in order for us to be able to found our state. Expand our space for our people. Okay? The group are responsible for the war. Treatment they receive is hardly unjust. They have deserved it all. Oh, here I was wrong. While closely echoing what Israeli leaders have said about Palestinians recently, this is in fact a quote from Goebbels. Bomb without distinction. Yeah. Against you animals, against you traitors, against you barbarians. You'll never live again. I will return to the city when the last Palestinian is terminated. I don't care if they are children, elderly people, or crutches. Said by the Major General of IDF. A woman. No less. Whoa, and even this, like, more like conspiratorial approach to getting rid of Palestinians, also by the founder of Zionism. Now, back then, you know, they were like, no way could we pull off literally putting them in an open-air prison camp. It was, you know, couldn't even believe such a great possibility for their project. God damn it, man. The group is a devil in human form. You should be exterminated. A Nazi. This is not. Do not admit that the wrong has been to those people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, or at any rate a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come and taken their place. This shit is so fucked up. If I had to redo the quiz right now, so I just did it. Yes, I'm a bit of a stupid guy, but if I had to redo it right now, I would not be able to properly guess either. Like, even if I read it right now, I mean, this should tell you more than enough about what Zionism as an idea is based and rooted in, what apartheid as an idea is based and rooted in, and as a more wider, more general concept, what colonialism is rooted in. Hatred, racism, and a unexplainable bloodlust which can only be satisfied through the complete and utter extermination of a people and its replacement with the colonizer. Yeah.
If I may, a
Thank you,
caveat.
Carmina, for the
In a
way.
2004 interview with Haaretz, Israeli historian Benny Morris was asked if he identified with David Ben-Gurion after having researched him for several years up to that point. I do not identify with Ben-Gurion. I think he made a serious historical mistake in 1948. Even though he understood the demographic issue and the need to establish a Jewish state without a large Arab minority, he got cold feet during the war. In the end, he faltered. The interviewer responds, "I'm not sure I understand. Are you saying that Ben-Gurion erred in expelling too few Arabs?" Benny Morris, if he was already engaged in expulsion, maybe he should have done a complete job. I know that this stuns the Arabs and the liberals and the politically correct types, but my feeling is that this place would be quieter and no less suffering if the matter had been resolved once and for all. If Ben-Gurion had carried out a large expulsion and cleansed the whole country, the whole land of Israel, as far as the Jordan River, it may yet turn out that this was his fatal mistake. If he had carried out a full expulsion rather than a partial one, he would have stabilized the state of Israel for generations. The interviewer, the term to cleanse is terrible. Benny Morris, I know it doesn't sound nice, but that's the term that they used at the time. I adopted it from all the 1948 documents in which I am immersed. On the Palestinians, Morris opined, it is a very sick society. It should be treated the way we treat individuals who are serial killers. There is a wild animal there that has to be locked up in one way or another. All right, so just so we're not confused, Benny Morris is no Palestinian sympathizer. Morris, one of the Israeli new historians and author of The Birth of the Palestinian Refugee Problem, is well known for debunking the conventional myths of Zionist history. One of the most tenacious myths relating to 1948 is that of David and Goliath, that the Arabs were overwhelmingly stronger militarily than the Yishuv. The simple truth is that the stronger side won. Rashid Khalidi has gone into detail on this himself. Israel, in fact, outnumbered and outgunned its opponents. There were only 5 regular Arab military forces in the field in 1948, as Saudi Arabia and Yemen did not have modern armies to speak of. Just 4 of these armies entered the territory of Mandatory Palestine. The minuscule Lebanese army never crossed the frontier. And 2 of these, Jordan's Arab Legion and Iraq's forces, were forbidden by their British allies from breaching the borders of the areas allocated to the Jewish state by partition, and thus carried out no invasion of Israel. So much of the Arab coalition wouldn't even invade Israel proper, much less seek its destruction. Indeed, as Benny Morris wrote in his 1948 and after, none of the Arab states, save Transjordan, committed the full weight of their military power to the enterprise, indicating either inefficiency or perhaps a less than wholehearted seriousness about the declared aim of driving the Jews into the sea. But even Transjordan, Morris writes, neither expected nor planned for Israel's demise, nor were the Arab Legion's operations from May onwards designed to bring this about. As previously noted, the 1967 war was sparked not by Arab states seeking to destroy Israel, but by an Israeli attack on Egypt. In the later 1973 war, says Morris, Presidents Anwar Sadat of Egypt and Hafez Assad of Syria sought to regain the territories lost in 1967. Neither aimed to destroy Israel, despite a still widely held belief, apparently, since Helen Mirren starred in a movie which declares the opposite.
If the Arabs reach Tel Aviv, Israel will be wiped off the map.
Of course, today, Israel is one of the most powerful militaries anywhere in the entire world. The 4th most powerful military after the U.S., Russia, and China, according to U.S. News and World Report. It is also the only country in the Middle East, and in fact, one of the very few anywhere, with nuclear weapons. military prowess aided by the extraordinary aid received by the United States every year. Though the U.S. and Israel didn't always have this special relationship. Harry Truman supported the UN partition plan and recognized Israel, but American policymakers didn't want to put their full weight behind the nascent Jewish state for fear of alienating Arab states. It wasn't until John F. Kennedy's presidency, when he authorized the first major arms shipment to Israel in 1963, that the floodgates opened. Anti-aircraft missiles and tanks were among the first arms. Why? J.J. Goldberg, editor of the Jewish Forward newspaper, explained in his work Jewish Power. Zionist influence increased exponentially during the
Really bad fucking name for a book, man.
Kennedy and Johnson administrations, because the affluence and influence of Jews in American society had increased. Jews had become vital donors to the Democratic Party. They were key figures in the organized labor movement, which was essential to the Democratic Party. They were major figures in liberal intellectual, cultural, and academic circles. More than any of their predecessors in the Oval Office, John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson counted numerous Jews among their close advisors, donors, and personal friends. The Israeli victory from the Six-Day War saw shipments of military aid soar to new heights. In the early days of the State of Israel, U.S. officials believed it too weak to act as a counterweight to Soviet influence. Simply put, Israel's military victories proved otherwise. From 1949 to 1965, U.S. aid averaged $63 million a year. By 1970, it was $102 million.
Israel was used as a crutch to pacify the entire region violently. That's the reason.
And in 1971, U.S. aid reached a staggering $634 million, 85% of that pure military aid. This amount quintupled after the Yom Kippur War in 1973. By 1976, Israel was the largest recipient of U.S. foreign aid, a status it has held ever since. Over the years, Congress has granted Israel myriad special privileges in order to receive more aid and quicker, Mersheimer and Walt explain. Most recipients of American foreign aid get their money in quarterly installments, but since 1982, the annual foreign aid bill has included a special clause specifying that Israel is to receive its entire annual appropriation in the first 30 days of the fiscal year.
It's required that they have to buy American weaponry.
The Foreign Military Financing Program normally requires recipients of U.S. military assistance to spend all of the money here in the United States to help keep American defense workers employed. Congress grants Israel a special exemption in the annual appropriations bill, however, authorizing it to use about 1 out of every 4 U.S. military aid dollars to subsidize its own defense industry.
And you tell me that Israel is not just another American state. The biggest chunk of your tax dollars goes in the United States where? Where? The defense budget. And then you have a country that is 1/150th of the size of your country, but it is allowed, whenever it chooses to utilize 25%, 1/4 dollar, of your military spending. My man, Israel is more important to the United States than Texas, Florida, California, and Wisconsin combined, my brother.
Jeremy M. Sharp noted in a 2006 report for the Congressional Research Service that no other recipient of U.S. military assistance has been granted this benefit. Another CRS report from 2005 reveals, amazingly, that because U.S. economic aid is given to Israel as direct government-to-government budgetary support without any...
If there was no Israel, we would have to make an Israel. Biden.
...specific project accounting, and money is fungible, there is no way to tell how Israel uses U.S. aid. Again, a privilege not granted to any other recipient of U.S. aid anywhere in the world. Why does Israel get all these special privileges? If not for being an asset, but rather a liability, if not for being a democracy, a war on terror partner, or surrounded by states wanting to destroy it, why does Israel get all this aid? As Mersheimer and Walt would put it, simply it's because of the lobby. But they maintain that the lobby isn't all that different from other lobbies. There are various ethnic lobbies that fight for their respective interests. There's a Mexican lobby, an Indian lobby, a Turkish lobby, a Cuban lobby. Mersheimer and Walt provide extensive literature on ethnic lobbies. Cuban Americans have lobbied to maintain the embargo on Castro's regime. Armenian Americans have pushed Washington to acknowledge the 1915 genocide and, more recently, to limit U.S. relations with Azerbaijan, among other examples. There's one important difference with the Israel lobby, though. It's extremely powerful. We use Israel lobby as a convenient shorthand term for the loose coalition of individuals and organizations that actively work to shape U.S. foreign policy in a pro-Israel direction. A loose coalition indeed, though the Israel lobby is quite easy to identify. The 50 largest groups all belong to a conference of presidents of major American Jewish organizations. Here are all its members. But the American Israel Public Affairs Committee is the most important group. Back in 1997, Fortune magazine asked nearly 2,200 insiders, including members of Congress, their staffs, and senior White House officials, to rank the mightiest lobbying groups. AIPAC placed second, behind the 33 million-member AARP. A key pillar of the lobby's effectiveness is its influence in the U.S. Congress. Whether the issue is abortion, arms control, affirmative action, gay rights, the environment, trade policy, healthcare, immigration, welfare, there is almost always a lively debate on Capitol Hill. But where Israel is concerned, potential critics fall silent, and there is hardly any debate at all. To understand why that is, we must examine AIPAC's grooming of congressional candidates. As former AIPAC President Howard Friedman explained in August 2006, AIPAC meets with every candidate running for Congress. These candidates receive in-depth briefings to help them completely understand the complexities of Israel's predicament and that of the Middle East as a whole. We even ask each candidate to author a position paper on their views of the U.S.-Israel relationship, so it's clear where they stand on the subject. In 1990, Democrat Harry Lonsdale challenged the Republican senator from Oregon, Mark Hatfield. The word that I was pro-Israel got around, he said. Lonsdale described a visit to AIPAC headquarters during his campaign. It was an experience I will never forget. It wasn't enough that I was pro-Israel. I was given a list of vital topics and quizzed, read grilled, for my specific opinion on each. Actually, I was told what my opinion must be and exactly what words I was to use to express those opinions in public. Shortly after the encounter at AIPAC, I was sent a list of American supporters of Israel that I was free to call for campaign contributions. I called, they gave, from Florida to Alaska. There's a reason Bill Clinton referred to AIPAC as better than anyone else lobbying in this town. Life is good on AIPAC's good side, but another reason why AIPAC is so effective is its ability to punish those who incur its wrath.
Yes.
In one stark example, Americans will remember what happened in February of 2019 when journalist Glenn Greenwald reported on Twitter that Kevin McCarthy was seeking to reprimand Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib over their criticisms of Israel. Ilhan Omar, the newly elected Somali-American representative from Minnesota's 5th Congressional District, responded with 6 words. It's all about the Benjamin's baby. But Omar was far from finished. When asked, would love to know who Ilhan Omar thinks is paying American politicians to be pro-Israel, Omar replied with one word, AIPAC. Trump called on her to resign.
I think she should resign from Congress, frankly.
Democrat Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi published a statement which read, anti-Semitism must be called out, confronted and condemned whenever it is encountered without exception. We are and will always be strong supporters of Israel in Congress because we understand that our support is based on shared values and strategic interests. Congresswoman Omar's use of anti-Semitic tropes and prejudicial accusations about it.
Massive organization that gives billions and billions of dollars to American politicians who themselves, some of them who have been presidents, they've said that it is the most influential fucking lobbying group in town, quote unquote, in Washington. Calling that out is somehow anti-Semitic because they happen to put a David Star there in their name and say that they represent Jewish interests while it's only representing Zionist interests. As conspiratorial? What? How is it conspiratorial? It's so fucking black and white ever. Like every single fucking politician goes and sucks them fucking off, my friend.
Israel supporters is deeply offensive. We condemn these remarks and we call upon Congressman Omar to immediately apologize for these hurtful comments. A statement that could very well have been written by AIPAC, for letter writing is their specialty, as we'll see later. AIPAC's political operation is used precisely as Representative Omar suggested, says former AIPAC employee MJ Rosenberg. I know this because I witnessed it over and over again. I sat in AIPAC staff meetings at which the political director discussed whom we would be supporting in this campaign and whom we were going to destroy in that one. When asked whom she is accusing of buying members of Congress...
So it's not just, the big meme everywhere around the world talking to you Americans is, America says there's no corruption in politics and yet there's lobbying. So funny. It's additionally fucked up and additionally hypocritical that these lobbying groups do not only reward those who support them, but have established mechanisms because they have rooted themselves in the power structures in the United States so well that they can very much so punish and destroy the careers of those who they deem completely uncorruptible to their cause. I mean, look at our boy from the Labour Party over in the UK. They fucking ruined the man for, basically being pro-Palestinian.
Omar responded with one word, AIPAC, period. Here's the thing, AIPAC is not synonymous with Jews. AIPAC has many weapons at its disposal, in its arsenal. It's remarkable the power of a letter-writing campaign, let alone editorials publishing op-eds by think tank pundits. When Gerald Ford, through his chief diplomat Henry Kissinger, was trying to secure peace between Israel and Egypt, they lost their patience. You don't understand. I'm trying to save you, Kissinger reportedly told Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Ford even sent Rabin a letter which read, "I have directed an immediate reassessment of U.S. policy in the area, including our relations with Israel." No less than 76 senators signed a letter opposing the administration. As then Senator from Maryland Charles Mathias wrote for Foreign Affairs, 76 of us promptly affixed our signatures, although no hearings had been held, no debate conducted, nor had the administration been invited to present its views. One senator was reported to have candidly expressed a feeling that in fact was widespread. The pressure was just too great. I caved. That senator was in fact Iowa's John Culver. Jumping ahead to 2002, 52 senators signed a letter urging Vice President Dick Cheney not to meet with Yasser Arafat of the PLO. In one ambitious example, AIPAC mobilized thousands of pro-Israel activists to urge lawmakers to sign a letter to the Bush administration calling for an end to all American contacts with members of the Palestinian Authority. Some 6,000 AIPAC members took part, meeting with hundreds of lawmakers, pushing pieces of legislation mandating tougher sanctions against Iran and ensuring financial aid to Israel. No wonder former Secretary of State Lawrence Eagleberger once told AIPAC's Tom Dine, "Dine, I deal with you because you could hurt me." Or Democratic Senator from South Carolina Ernest Hollings as he left office in 2004. You can't have an Israeli policy other than what AIPAC gives you around here. For not towing the line, as presidential hopeful
I have
Howard...
nothing to add. The reason I'm not adding, maybe this is stealing content. I don't know, call it whatever the fuck you want, but there's nothing like this motherfucker is just quoting it out there. There's nothing to add. I'm just enjoying my sandwich here, okay? Enjoy.
Dean failed...
Just chilling, chat. We're chilling together and we're watching a great fucking documentary.
...to do by suggesting the U.S. take a, quote, even-handed role in the Arab-Israeli conflict. Nancy Pelosi of California signed a letter with 33 congressional Democrats that said it is unacceptable for the U.S. to be even-handed on these fundamental issues.
Pumpkin seeds.
So control of one of the three branches of government is totally in the hands of the Israel lobby. But it doesn't end there. There's also the executive branch. Again, this has been the case for decades. For example, AIPAC suffered a scandal in 1992 when Chaim Katz, a prospective donor, calling AIPAC's then-president David Steiner. But unbeknownst to Steiner, the conversation was being taped. The transcript is revealing. Steiner: "I have friends on the Clinton campaign, close associates. Gore is very committed to us. I've known Bill for 7-8 years. I know him on a personal basis. I have friends. One of my friends is Hillary Clinton's scheduler. One of my officer's daughters works there. We gave 2 employees from AIPAC leave of absences to work on the campaign. I mean, we have a dozen people in that campaign, in the headquarters." He also bragged about lavish military aid. "I met with U.S. Secretary of State Jim Baker, and I cut a deal with him. Besides the $10 billion in loan guarantees, which was a fabulous thing, $3 billion in foreign, in military aid, and I got almost $1 billion in other goodies that people don't even know about." Steiner was right. Martin Indyk, co-founder of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy and former deputy director of research at AIPAC, earned a seat at Clinton's National Security Council and went on to become the U.S. ambassador to Israel and assistant secretary of state. WINEP's other co-founder, Dennis Ross, also served prominently as Clinton's special envoy to the Middle East. These were Clinton's advisors for the 2000 Camp David summit. In the Bush administration, that's for another video. But this trend goes back years. Take a look at this 1987 New York Times article. Speaking of AIPAC, so impressive is its political mystique that now, 16 months before the 1988 elections, nearly all the presidential candidates have all...
Gabriel Hellborn, literally in GDS's comment section for this video, you found sub-comments about how this is proof that Jews around the world point missed. Yeah, point completely missed, fucking idiots. It's nothing to do with fucking Jews. This is to do with one particular apartheid state which has incredible amounts of power and money directly linked to the country which founded it as its 54th, 56th, 58th fucking state. It's as its colony. They have mutual interests and mutual connection, and capital there flows back and forward in the direction of making sure that this relationship is never hurt by any elected representative. It has nothing to do with the Judom or whatever the fuck. It has to do with America needing to keep that colony very much so alive and thriving and annihilating absolutely everyone around it. And in order for it to achieve that, it is LARPing hardcore on the fact that they happen to be a so-called Jewish state in order to better propagate its right to existence to both its voting body and other competing politicians.
Already met with AIPAC officials to be interviewed about their positions on the Middle East. This is an actual example, Mr. Tom Dine said. "I won't give you the name. One of the presidential candidates called us and said, I will be publicly declaring soon, and I am interested in hiring so-and-so for a top campaign position. Tell me what you think of him." "Was it thumbs up or thumbs down?" Mr. Dine was asked. "Thumbs up." The Israelis are more than aware of the importance of AIPAC, with former Prime Minister Ariel Sharon telling an audience, "When people ask how they can help Israel, I tell them, help AIPAC." Sharon's successor, Ehud Olmert, agreed. "Thank God we have AIPAC, the greatest supporter and friend we have in the whole world." So AIPAC appears to have the executive branch as well. But aside from pure government influence, what shapes narratives in the media also influences not only policy, but also everyday conversation. Much of the time, editorial boards, executives, CEOs are staunchly pro-Israel. The longtime editor of the Wall Street Journal, Robert Bartley, once said, Shamir, Sharon, Bibi, whatever those guys want is pretty much fine by me, a trend that appears to have continued after his death. Though the political affiliations of editors and CEOs is critical in understanding coverage, a topic I explore in this video about CNN's recent pro-Israel bias, the backlash from the lobby is itself a potent force. After Israel invaded Ramallah, Bethlehem...
Welcome, Rob Rousseau, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Much love to Rob. We played Helldivers earlier. Yeah, no London language speak. No London language speak. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're watching a documentary about AIPAC. We love AIPAC. We stand AIPAC. AIPAC good. AIPAC influence everything. Very much so, yes. Welcome, Goon Squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Join us in watching who really controls U.S. foreign policy as I eat. We all love Rob here. Who hasn't subbed to him, please do. And the rest of you, welcome. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share, give us a glog 9000. Welcome.
And most notably, Jenin in the West Bank during the Second Intifada, intense public reaction to coverage of the violence of the Middle East conflict has prompted unusually harsh attacks on several news media outlets and has led to boycotts of the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, and the Washington Post. WBUR-FM in Boston said it has lost more than $1 million in underwritings and pledges this year, nearly 4% of its annual budget. Then CNN chief news executive Eason Jordan said he could find up to 6,000 email messages protesting coverage in his inbox in a single day. In a callback to the experts filter, as in the 5 filters of the mass media laid out in the foundational media criticism text, Manufacturing Consent, Mearsheimer-Walt explained that instead of relying on government officials or academics to provide analysis and commentary, news media increasingly depend on experts from Washington-based think tanks. Many think tanks also distribute brief and easily digested policy memorandums to legislators and other government officials. They organize seminars, working breakfasts, and briefings for officials and their staffs, and encourage their own analysts to publish op-eds and other visible forms of commentary, all with the goal...
You know how in the pharmaceutical industry, all doctors, if you want them to sell your shit a bit better, you send sales representatives to pitch them your particular medication, right? Very often, there are 20 different variations of the same medication, but you want them to sell yours, so you send a representative to pitch why this one in particular is better. Very often, it's not better. It's just different branding. So, in order for you to motivate them, you basically pay them for it, but you can't pay them directly because that's illegal. So you take them to lunches, you take them to seminars where the seminar is like 2 hours, but they get to chill there for four or 5 days on a beautiful beach, etc., etc. You court them in many different ways. Now, it is not conspiratorial to say that that happens in the pharmaceutical sector because it's extremely common and extremely basic. This, to the same extent, but on steroids, because funny enough, they have more money to spend on the actual courting, happens with lobbies. These guys don't just sit down and give you the cash directly. They talk to you. They convince you. They send you to plenty of places. They, more importantly, make you sit through the seminars. They make you start believing the shit that they pay you for. The way lobbying also works is you don't want to feel bad that you're taking money from these particular organizations. So it's even more likely for you to start believing the shit that they're selling because that's how you avoid feeling like a corrupt piece of shit, right? All those little things combined and served to you on a beautiful, beautiful, fresh platter, and you get exactly what we have with AIPAC, an incredibly successful, incredibly advanced, and most importantly, incredibly well-founded methodology of supporting a particular goal, and that is a settler, colonialist, apartheid state in the Middle East. It has nothing to do with Jews in control. It has everything to do with the imperial core wanting to be in control by maintaining its legitimacy and courting its politicians on the controversial topic of Israel so that it always remains untouched, because that way the imperial core's interests in this important region called the Middle East is also intact. That's it. I Fucking take anti-Semites behind the fucking shed and shoot them, okay? Don't fucking go down that road.
Of shaping the prevailing climate of ideas. So rather than Israel's democratic values or superior morality or there being a David among an Arab Goliath, the real reason for the absolute and total lack of accountability for Israel is the fact that Israel, through its powerful lobby in the United States, has effectively wrested control of our most important political institutions from the hands of the broader public to a small group of right-wing ideologues whose concern is territorial expansion and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians and hawkish policy toward Iran with the ambition of one day bombing it. All at the expense of the Palestinians, the Arab world, the Muslim world, and Israel and the United States themselves. Indeed, Israel's hand in the invasion of Iraq hurt, most of all, millions of Iraqis, but also Israel and the United States, by alienating Arab leaders and ultimately strengthening Iran and providing it numerous safe havens in the Middle East. That process will be the topic of my next video. Indeed, the Israel Lobby video is a series. Subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned if you've already been here.
For instance, this year, many pro-Israel PACs are trying to defeat incumbent Senator Chick Hecht of Nevada, even though he is Jewish, because he too did not follow the AIPAC line on weapons sales to the Arabs. In recent years, AIPAC and the pro-Israel PACs have helped defeat, among others, Congressman Paul Findlay and Pete McCloskey, Senators Harrison Schmitt of New Mexico, Walter Huddleston of Kentucky, and Chuck Percy of Illinois.
I finally reached the stage where, as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, I saw our foreign policy totally turned around. With a Muslim world, 800 million people looking askance at the United States of America, what is happening? Who is running the foreign policy? Can Israel and the Prime Minister have more power than the entire Senate of the United States or the President of the United States? And that, to me, I simply said, enough is enough.
Altogether, Israel gets more than $3 billion a year in assistance from the United States.
Sometimes the votes go through without a single debate involving billions of dollars. You couldn't spend that kind of money in this country without a huge debate going on.
Now I heard there's another controversy, not as big as this one, and that's Boeing. We all flew in Boeing, but turns out not even planes be working in capitalism. Fucking commentary. Okay. Let's watch my least favorite liberal, unironically. I don't fuck with John Oliver, but let's see this controversy and just chill as we slowly zone out, shall we? But before we go into this Boeing controversy and this whole conversation about what happened there and how we can do some class analysis on it, I would like to encourage all the beautiful people over in the YouTube stream to come and join us, over with my favorite children on Twitch, because the stream will now be ending on YouTube and continuing exclusively over on Jeff Bezos's, who is my overlord, some class platform on it. I'm very grateful that all of you have joined me, and I encourage you to click the following link and join us on Twitcheroo. I'm posting it right now in chat. There you go. Come join us over there, and we can continue having some fun and learning something, hopefully. With that being said, YouTube chat, thank you very much for joining, and see you next time. Mwah, 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 mwah. You have the link. See you. Bye-bye. Okay, rip YouTube. Killing it here. Welcome to those of you from YouTube that have a brain and came to Jeff Bezos's ultimate Chad streaming service. Willkommen. Let me change this mask. It's extremely uncomfortable. And now let's learn about Boeing. Boing. Imagine calling your country the sound that you make when you tap a ball, and it ends up being one of the wealthiest and most successful companies to ever exist. That's legendary. So, let me show you something. Okay, I hope this works. Okay, so you have an industry that never existed, right? And then all of a sudden you have somebody that makes something new. And they start making money, and they start making better and better products. Then you have some competition. That company goes down a bit, competition, but because they're competing, it's rising, it's falling, it's rising. And at one point, it reaches a plateau. A plateau insinuating that the thing that they have made in a market in which they are competing against many other companies that are doing the same thing, Many companies that are doing the same thing, you know, when they all reach a relative plateau for their position in the market, they set themselves a question. Okay, I cannot take a bigger piece of the market because, for example, when it comes to plane design, we have reached the high point. Planes can't really get more comfortable or can't get faster, etc., etc. Or even if they can, the amount that we're going to have to invest is going to cut our profits so massively. So instead of doing that, while wanting to make profits continue to grow, let's start cutting what? Let's start cutting this line. Let's actually, instead of increasing our costs, let's start lowering our costs. So when those costs, when, for example, for you to make this much profit, you need to spend this much money, that means that this is your profit, right? This is your profit. And you've been trying to better the product, dominate the market more and more. But at one point, as we previously said, you reach the plateau. How do you actually start making more profit? You no longer care about this line going up. You no longer care about the because you cannot take a bigger piece of the market. That's not how it works at the point at which, for example, Boeing finds himself in which there's just too many competitors and everything is filled up. So how do you make this part, how do you make it bigger? You make this line lower. So you cut costs, but no, they want more profits. So you cut them more, and you cut them more, and you cut them more, and at one point, the fucking door blows off of a plane. Explained as fucking easy as goddamn possible. This is theory, yes. To an extent, you could even call this the falling rate of profit, even though that's a bit more complicated. And not even the conversation about free market leads to worse products because they figure out that by cost cutting they can actually make more money. Very often the reason that they are cost cutting in the first place is because they keep hiring executives who are basically alien species specifically defined by whose job is specifically defined by increasing shareholder value, and therefore they believe in absolutely nothing except that. And very often they are brought in from completely different sectors that have absolutely nothing to do with the company that they are about to manage. That coupled with the only thing kind of keeping them in their position of power inside of the corporate structure, increasing shareholder value. And you basically have a leadership which believes in nothing except trying to find a way to make more money, but they do not have the skills to actually introduce to call for a way through which the product can be bettered. So it doesn't only not only the economy is what I'm saying stimulates companies to cost cut, but also the way that the system is set up leads to leaders being put in positions of power inside of these corporate structures that basically don't know anything and don't know what they're doing. So the first thing that kind of comes to mind for them is exactly this sort of cost-cutting shit, because they don't know anything else. They call it optimization, they call it optimizing human capital, etc., but at the end of the day, it's just that, cost-cutting.
All the setbacks from...
Fuck systematic analysis. Now I'm just going to ask a stupid question. Don't the pilots feel this? Somebody help me who kind of has some connection to aviation, if we have anybody in chat. Doesn't I'm a pilot and they bring in these new planes and so on, and I fly them 1 or 2 times. I'm not talking about the doors. I'm talking about these sorts of designs. Don't I feel, because I've flied so many planes, don't I feel, fuck, this isn't how a plane should feel. This kind of, because if I go into a car that's, not functioning properly, you immediately feel it. You get it, but... I don't know. They are autopilot. They don't manually do it now. If you feel this, it's too late. Yeah, also have an altimeter. 1520 on the quiz. Ha ha ha. I have no idea. Depends on the pilot, like everything else. Pay enough and a pilot will be quiet. But they can fall and die as well. The pilot dies too if it goes boom shakalaka baka. There you go. Pilots Union opposes. But we don't listen to the unions because they're dirty communist dogs, right? What the fuck? Click here. Pilot Union opposes granting Boeing 737 10 cockpit alerting extension. Yeah, so I guess they do notice. Thank you, Nana Shimakoto. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they added a system called MCAS.
The Pilot Union has been bitching publicly about the MAX. Yeah. Thank you.
Or
There we go. But no, we don't listen to the unions because they're not true experts. They're not the true engineers that have designed these planes, even though the engineers themselves say they would never get on that fucking thing. It's just a bunch of fucking dudes in suits that have never fucking done a second of actual hard work in their life, sitting around pointing at each other and calling each other experts and saying that we should all listen to them because they got it fucking figured out. And as long as we listen to them, the world is going to continue working all up until you fucking fly out of a fucking door on a plane or on a car or on a fucking bike. Probably our bikes are gonna start fucking falling apart at some point because, oh my god, it's too expensive to fucking use actual aluminum or steel on our fucking bikes. We're gonna start making them out of fucking plastic. That probably fucking exists. And they probably call it eco-friendly too. They probably call it like very good for the environment. It's a recycled bicycle. Be very happy with your recycled bicycle.
Characteristics augmentation system. Very basically, when the plane came close to a situation in which it might stall, MCAS would...
Speaking about money, in exactly 5 minutes, an ad will play. If you'd like to support the show for $5 or for free through Prime while avoiding ads, please do consider doing so. That will motivate me and the market, the profit market, to not cut corners and continue being such an elite streamer instead of lowering quality and improving on quantity. Oh yes, it's the corporate culture that was destroyed. Okay, let's agree. Why has the corporate culture been destroyed? Because the two companies merged and afterwards different leaders were put in that did what? That started making the different planes in different places and putting them together. Why, John? Why, my friend, did they start making it in different places before they put it together? Because it's cheaper, John. Okay, so John, why it being cheaper was a topic of conversation at all? Why was that important for the company? Yes, John, because they wanted to make more money. Yes, John. Okay, so the incentive of making more money led to this. John? Yes, John. Okay, so why do we have this incentive to make more money, John? Why? So I'm not going to scare you with scary words, John, but what if we propose that in certain industries at least, we need to regulate them so intensively, or more importantly, nationalize them, because they're not supposed to be ran for profit, because people sit in them and fly in the sky. Maybe that is supposed to be run by the same people that build our streets, our hospitals, and our motherfucking schools. You know, a nice little start. The space coffins maybe shouldn't be run by slick-back suit monkeys, right? Maybe we should be able to vote on what sort of space coffins we run around in. You know, maybe that way it will be not motivated by profitability, but by giving the best service to those who they are responsible for. And those are the people flying in them, indirectly the people through their tax money paying for them, indirectly the citizenry of a particular country or the world. But no, it's get a better CEO and get a better corporate culture. That's what they need. That's what they need. And what I need is for you to not have to watch ads, especially one that is coming in exactly 4 minutes. So if you would like to avoid it, do consider becoming a subscriber and indirectly supporting the channel. Thank you. Do not be like John. Sub to Twitch. That's exactly it. We went to business school, get on our plane. But no, we concentrate on TikTok, get on our planes, and fly around. You will be safe. Believe in all sectors of industry. We are not all absolutely fucking winging this and barely making things work. No, not at all. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's stream. It's been lovely, and thank you especially to all the subs. very kindly. I know the number looks like it didn't go up much, actually went down to what it was today, but that means that we grew as much as we grew last 13th of February, because apparently those dates fight. When a month passes, you lose the previous ones, etc., etc. So I am proud of you. Maybe number not go up, but number stay the same. And for us communists, number not always needs to go up. Turns out. Man, this guy sure loves subs. Yeah, I love submarines. I love subscribers. I love those nice little sandwiches, which I can afford thanks to my beautiful subscribers. Okay, motherfucker? The line holds. Yes, it does. Thank you for all those. Like, today's stream was around, how long? 7 hours? Because we played earlier. We played some video games earlier. So if you combine those two, 7-8 hours. Jesus fucking Christ. And I think I could do it with like a nice little breaks in between. Potentially I could do it. Am I ever going to do it? Question. But I definitely could, especially if this becomes even more sustainable. And with that being said, let's just wait for all the non-subs to get out of the ads so I can thank them as well. And we can move into wrapping up today's beautiful stream. Who should I raid? The question is today. Give me names of who I should raid. Give me some ideas of who is online currently and who I should raid. Let me see who this is. Okay. For all of you subs, non-subs that were watching the ad up until now, I was just thanking you for a lovely stream. Today was almost 8 fucking hours. Holy fucking shit. Give me more names, please. Okay, I guess let's raid the serfs. Say hi to them for me. We might not have always agreed on things, but I like the serfs, contrary to popular opinion. Wait, the serfs, what's their actual, the serfs TV? I almost fucked up and said it to some wrong serfs. So yeah, go say hi. Listen to what you actually need to post all the time. Very long stream today. Thank you for all the subscribers. Thank you for all of you who joined me. On Friday, we continue. Tomorrow, I might have like a short stream, like a joke around, fuck around. But on, Jesus, this thing always fucks up. The stream thing, no, the raid thing. Wait, raid channel. The Surfs TV. There you go. Fucking start raid. You're already raiding the Surfs. Okay, so did it work? It worked. Okay, go. Have fun. I love you. And see you tomorrow or the day after that. Check out the fucking schedule. Bye-bye.